Welcome back, everybody. Thank you. Issue resolved. We managed to make Rob fit back on his camera again. We're all chilling.
Oh.
So, let us catch back up. Nick, obviously. Rod need to break this 1-1 streak. If they lose, I think it's... If they lose, like get 2-0'd, they are basically excluded from top 4. I think that's what Gov was saying.
Yeah.
1-1 would, of course, maintain an unfortunate and, as you said, possibly worrying trend. A 2-0 for them would be obviously optimal because they want the upper bracket placement going through to playoffs.
Yeah. They absolutely want that top 4, right? So if they win here, I'm not sure if they actually do push the Bandits out of top 4. I think they need another at least 1-1 for that.
They'll both be 8-4 at that point, so it's...
Okay, yeah.
I think they'll be a head-on-head-to-head.
Okay. Well, if they then win today, 2-0, then they win the head-to-head as well. But so that's like the biggest goal I think today. Just get that 2-0 done, break the curse once and for all, and then get yourself like locked in that top 4 position. But if you cannot, then the Bandits will, take the top 4 and you're just out of playoffs. I think the next game will be against Absolved as well. So if you want to get any wins, get them today.
Yep. Strength of schedule and all that. We are into draft for the first game. Bandits taking the blue side for the first time around as the bands coming straight through. We're seeing pretty standard right now. I'm not seeing any big target bands just yet. I mean, we were talking about Aniki's Gwen, though.
It's not surprising, is it, Rakesh? But it's the Rumble against Loopy again. I was wrong at the beginning of the season. He's no longer an Urgot Ornn 2 trick, he's now an Urgot Ornn Rumble 3 trick, so that has to be taken off the board. The Tweak has a very good Vi historically. There was banned against him a lot when he played on Good Chi and on Rise, so that being gone is not surprising. The Gwen banning against Aniki. Orianna, JB had a great game on that Orianna versus Good Chi the other day, so it's not surprising to see that gone, especially if you're able to play with the Jarvan, which don't forget, Clicker's back in today, I believe. I don't believe it's Lian playing, who was their sub. Against Good Chi, and yeah, it's just regular sort of picks. There's a Hen as well. That's a potential pick for Tweak more than it is Aniki. They're just sort of pinching a bit of a jungle pool and getting rid of some of the more OPs. I would love this to be locked in because I think it would be really funny, but I don't think we're seeing a Yumi first pick.
I guess the Zahen is like it's a champion that's really being discovered right now. I think in the West, Korea was already playing it, but EU not as much. But right now he's like one of the strongest flex champions. You cannot really ever counter him if you put him in the jungle, for example, but then even then in the top he can still play. Yunara is a pretty good AD carry, my favorite, to be honest, a very strong one, usually getting countered by for example a Caitlyn or anything else like an Ezreal that can really bully the Yunara because she's quite weak early on. She really needs help to get through the laning phase, and then once she gets the Kraken Slayer, then she can really start winning. But Ashe being the answer, I think, is a decent poke champ in the vein of Ezreal, and usually gets paired with the Seraphine. Of course, Ashe is slow, makes the Seraphine snare and stun, which is a very strong Bamundo being picked up instead.
I just want to comment here. There's no Diana ban. Is this Clicker in the jungle? I'd have to check that. I'd have to go and have a quick look at the roster sheets because usually we would have seen is Diana being taken. Because none of the jungle pool has been taken off the board for the often considered the one of the better junglers in the league if you just go by ranked.
You could look at the Jarvan now, though, right?
You could go Jarvan. The Mundo does surprise me a little bit, it being so early.
It is Lian.
It is Lian. Okay, so it is Lian. So they maybe aren't predicting like the Aatrox. Maybe they're not predicting like the Diana, the Jax coming out. Obviously, that would be for Clicker. I'm just a bit surprised they're taking it so early. Rise, not a surprise though. Incredibly strong on the patch. Curated a number, funnily, against Bandits the other day, really outplaying their entire team multiple times. So JB picking that one up after he kind of got his bottom whooped a little bit. And there's the Aatrox, which is usually the classic counter into the Mundo jungle.
Just drop that canister off him nice and early, and then all of that follow-up CC is there. That's the Seraphine that you alluded to being picked up, presumably to go with Ashe in the bottom lane. So
now you just have to worry about certain supports, right? So what Seraphine and Ashe don't really like is supports that can really jump onto them. So think of like a Leona or a Nautilus. They can get poked out quite easily, but if you get an Aatrox and then you pair it with the Nautilus, then you have a lot of CC on any type of gank. A Braum would actually be very surprising to me, because I think Seraphine just bullies him away. But Nico, I guess they just don't really want the follow-up engage, as I do think that the band is red now. They miss out on engage. I think Nico, I wouldn't personally ban, but not as Leona for sure.
I don't want to see a Blitzcrank, which I think Verdant's support played into the Seraphine Ash combo the other day. I think that you do need to have a you need to be going in as much as ripping apart the death ball. It's better to be sat there trying to jump on them in lane and really putting them in the dirt early on. So I agree generally in taking those more engaged spots. The Nautilus is a great example. Right? Get that forward. The Mel ban.
The Bear Tree Mel. Yep.
Against Bear Tree, not a surprise. It is one of his better picks. Could signal maybe something else. I say an Ari, but there's already a Rise pick, so I don't really see. I think it's just there. Don't want to have that long range poke mage. The Rail ban. You said about engage. There's one of them off the board. I still think there's plenty up here. However, I again the Nico does surprise. The Ari ban as well against Bear Tree, really pinching that mid pool. I think you're just going to be taking. I think what you want me to. If you're an Anivia player, by by as an aside, this is quite a good Anivia game.
Yeah, you stick it
so far. I think Anivia would be pretty good for Bear Tree. He's.
We saw it played by Caps. Angle. We saw it in the LPL, and now Bear Tree bringing it out in the Four Nations.
I mean, this is not going to be a support Anivia.
How does he do it?
Unless they do it like that. Lulu, I think, is a decent enchanter. It cannot go toe to toe with the Seraphine, but I guess scaling wise, it really works well with the Yunara Milio. I'm not too sure. It does give the Yunara a bit of more range, as well as the healing, the sustain that you really want to have against the Seraphine as well. Yeah, cleansing out the Seraphine ultimate as well as the Ash show. It works out, and then as the, I would assume top lane, you're still missing out on a lot of engage. Like Ornn, I think, is just,
I mean,
it's Lupi today, Nick.
Yeah, this is just the Ongle. It's, pretty simple.
And they're throwing the gauntlet down to Aniki, right?
Is there a world where you can play Mundo top here? Or does Ornn kind of...
Yeah, Mundo wins that, though. Mundo wins that. He gets to lane for free, basically. But then you have an Aatrox ganking you, and then you're crying. So I think that's basically the thing.
I think I prefer Mundo to stay in the jungle. I think Tweak's pretty good at it as well. It's one of his more comfort picks. In top lane here, though, there's no Gwen, there's no Zahen. It's going to be the Mundo in top with the Xin Zhao lock-in. So they have really locked into this Death Ball sort of idea. The Enchanter as well for the Xin Zhao in the bot lane. So you are going to be able to see if Tweak, who's pivoted from the Mundo to the Xin Zhao, can get it done on this, pretty standard. I mean, I think he's the most popular jungler in LPL at the moment. I think might be one of the most popular in LCK
pretty up
as
there,
well.
yeah.
So
the thing, of course,
see if he can do it against the Aatrox, which I think Aatrox is a monster.
He is, but when you're playing Xin Zhao, like, good luck landing Q1, Q2 sweet spots. Like, that's just never happening.
Yeah. However, I look at, like, whenever I see Aatrox in a UKL game, I feel like it just destroys every single time. Maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, I just think it absolutely destroys it. I think I don't know what it is, but I think what is it? Uki's had a great game on Aatrox before. We saw Lee. Was it Lee? Who had a great game the other day? There was someone else. All of them do. I swear, every time Aatrox comes in, I'm seeing them drop 15, 20 kills, or like that kind of level. And so every time I see Aatrox in the UK, I'm just terrified. So at the moment, I actually quite like Brod's draft. I think it's a lot better than what they've brought out in the past. However, the Bandits have got a lot of tools here to play skirmishes early. So I'm going to say it's Brod's game to win. I'm going to say Brod has a better draft. I'm going for Brod in this first game.
Well, don't know if we have predictions to bring up, but I know that you and I, Nick, are actually predicting Brod Renaissance of a 2-0. I think are you still believing in the 1-1 curse, I think, Rob? Is that...
Yeah, I'm still 1-1 today as it all... Oh, it's coming up. Yippee! There you go. I've got a 1-1. Yeah. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Nick changed his to 2-0 Brod. We know that for certain.
I never even changed it. I just
said it was Dubby that was 1-1 and who switched his prediction.
But anyway, I will say this is my actual prediction. But the reason I said 2-0 Brod is because, like, as casters, right?
We
have the most we have the strongest curses out there. So like,
Ah.
if every single one of them would have said 1-1, then today it would have been broken. But I didn't want it to be broken yet, so that's why this is my actual
You're like
prediction.
trying to out-curse a curse.
Yeah.
want to- yes,
You're trying to
exactly.
mind game the entire damn system.
Yes.
Trust the Dutch.
Yes, so I think it's a broad game, and that means Bandits has to come back in game 2, according to my predictions. You've got to defend yourself a little bit. I want to hear what you've got to say, Will, on this, because you've got Broad 2-0.
I do.
What were your thoughts?
I don't know. Sometimes you just have a feeling. Like, I think with the pressure is on to Broad now.
I'll give you a case. I'll give you a case. Yeah, it's like you said. Like the pressure is on Broad now, and I think today is the day they really want to win. So they're probably going to give their everything right now, and that's exactly what we're here for.
Well, if we see any less coming out of game number 1, expect me to jump ship very quickly. But it's enough from us for the time being, at least, as we are going to hurl it across to our casters on the Rift. W King and Rory B are ready and waiting for game number 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in. Thanks for the handover there, Brack. I'm here, joined by Rory B. Last time I was on the show was with you, and now we're matched again, so it's just a trend at this point, I'm seeing.
Well, those were good matches, if I remember correctly. So, maybe we're a blessing. Like, Nick was just talking about curses. Maybe we're the holy water that cleans away that horrid 2-0 prediction. Like, it has to be 1-1. I don't know why
I
you
did
said
say
2-0.
1-1. I
It's
did
got
say
to be
1-1 originally. But then I changed it over to 2-0 just because the way I'm seeing this going is that if Broad doesn't get the 2-0 now, it's just not going to happen. And it's just going to stale out their entire rest of just split. So they're going to have to give it everything now.
That's not the comp.
It's close.
It's 80%.
It's close.
It's 80%
Yeah, we're
of
just
the
lacking it a
matchup.
bit. But I remember when we were talking over this draft, you were talking about the flex of the Mundo and just how well that was used by Broad.
Yeah.
What do you want to say on that?
So I really loved it. It was kind of playing cat and mouse with the Aatrox at the end. Honestly, I was tempted to see if Bandits were willing to put that on into the jungle. Just so the Aatrox could have a really favourable matchup. But yeah, they touched on at the desk. Mundo has a completely fine time into Ornn. Like, his Q does percentage max HP damage, and it's magic damage, so he's a very hybrid damage profile. Ornn can't really build towards that in the early game, so Ornn just kind of gets smacked around. And, Xin Zhao's just a solid champ, so he's fine playing into the Aatrox.
Yeah, and one thing I always just like to see with Xin Zhao is that just pairing with some kind of enchanter, and they have the Seraphine there that, doesn't only has the enchanting through the shield and the move speed, might not have the healing and such, or the buffing like we're seeing on this other side with the Milio, but still something that can pair nicely into this mid-game if the Seraphine tries to move around the map with the Xin Zhao, allowing them to just play really aggressive, because if you can get that Xin Zhao ahead, it can just be such an accelerant in this mid-game. So I'm keen to see how that will play out and how they kind of path around this. Mid lane matchup, though, that's going to be interesting, right? This is maybe a pick. You were like, is Bear Tree the guy to pick it or not?
Yeah. So we've seen it cropping up, I'd say, quite a lot in professional players in answer to Ryze, because Ryze obviously got a lot stronger with the Actualizer being introduced into the game, gives him so much more burst, and Anivia is really good at just slowing him down while he's trying to scale up to 3 items. Basically, she drops R on him and then walls him off, and he can't really approach her or successfully run away, so he's just put in such an awkward middle spot where it's guaranteed damage he's going to be taken. And we're going to see how this lane pans out as we get into games. Nothing surprising in the runes. Gabby choosing not to take Cleanse because has Kenny on the Milio. Sometimes we see ADC still run Cleanse because they don't trust their support as well, and also there's a lot of crowd control on the side of Broad, but no. Gabby, complete confidence in Kenny's ultimate last fire. What was it? Last breath, last fire? Something. You're the PvP. You should know this.
I should, exactly. But no, I agree with what you're saying there, because you got to have this faith, especially at this level. You'd expect that, and it's the kind of situation where if you get stunned by one thing, you just need to cleanse out of it quick, and that's what the Milio can provide. The second cleanse might help you in lane, but then again, you've got that Milio there. It should keep them going. Whereas this mid lane matchup, we already saw the bone plating on JB there. Something to just keep themselves a bit sustained through this electrocute trading patterns and poke from Bertree here.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting JB just to have the push in lane early, just because Anivia's main pushing tool before she hits 6 is her Q, and that's quite high mana cost and a pretty slow projectile. So you're never hitting the wave and the rise generally, unless you've really put in some pressure on him from other sources. So yeah, Rise should be happy and just be able to push this lane out. Did stop for the tier for JB, so yeah, he's really not worried about Beartree's early damage, very confident that he won't be electrocuted too many times by that QE combo.
So, I just realized, shout out Bertree, they made me win the skin prediction. I wasn't even trying.
Oh, you got
yes.
Papercraft, did you?
I did.
Very nice, very nice.
Oh gosh, but okay, so back to this. Junglers here, we're both seeing them clearing down to this bot side, and Sin and Akers are getting some crazy push into here. So now we got to see how these junglers are going to try and path around that. Leon does seem to be just slightly more accelerated on this Aatrox than the Xin Zhao.
But Aatrox clears ridiculously fast,
Yeah.
because Riot went, you know what would be funny, guys? If we made a top laner better at clearing than normal junglers. So Aatrox is now just an absolute menace across his first clear, and as we're seeing, junglers are going to meet in river most likely. But Lian will be able to get to that river first because of the Paris champion. And it's a bit scary for Tweak, because I don't know about you, but I've seen Tweak have some unfortunate pathing in early games this split.
Yep.
And really, really set the team behind from level 4. As yet, they're going to be fighting over the crab here. They spot each other.
Yeah, Leon is in the middle of everyone. We'll have to see if they can get any kind of engage.
Heal
Leon
out.
jumping on the Tweak here first. Tweak is trying to take down this Aatrox, but the healing there will keep him alive for just long enough, forcing them to back out. We do see Bertree moving down, so this may be a retreat of the bandits.
That's one crab.
They're looking to more. Akers does get knocked up, but they'll walk out of this one. Take that crab and, you know, just be a bit aggressive in the early game, but we like it. I like to see these teams really try to contest these scuttle crabs and not give up anything for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And JB must have taken a really bad trade on mid that we didn't see, because he had to invest the teleport. And you don't rarely see a Rise. Oh, actually, kills down in the bot lane here.
They're still on the chase. Yeah, kill right there. Essential there with the kill
Gabby had
pick over the Seraphine.
flash. So I guess Akers must have just hit a really nice E for the root. And nothing could really be done there. Obviously, Seraphine working so well with the Ashe, because E, when it hits, if an Ashe is already autoed, because the auto is a slow, it's a guaranteed root, and then a stun if you're double upping on that beat drop. But yeah, as I was saying, JB must have taken a really bad trade at mid, because he used his teleport and only came back with boots. So that allowed Beartree to get the push in mid and then come over for that crab fight. And Lian, one of his strongest points on Aatrox is that level 4 spike. When you can get that first gank off, when you can get that first skirmish off. And now he's behind on it. He's a bit behind on tempo.
Yeah, exactly that. Just not being able to get that crab. Sure, they got the top crab, and at least farm-wise, they're on the same. You just want to be slightly more ahead. You don't want to have to give up that scuttle crab on the side where you are. So we'll have to see how they can just keep up with this. I mean, the kill's only 1 over, and it does go to the Seraphine, picking up that tier. So we got that scaling slowly, bit by bit. 3 tiers so far. Cole being matched onto the side of this Yanara. So we'll have to see exactly how these players kind of just play to try and get back into this game. And more importantly, we have the dragon that's just about spawned, and any team will want this one. The ocean dragon just being fantastic for both sides. So I don't see any team wanting to give this up for free.
Fork shot being used by Sin there just to scout out Dragon Pit to see if Lian had snuck over the wall and started this, as Gabby going for some early pokes, but the Seraphine shielding negates most of it. Lian sneaking behind him, is going to run into Tweak, finishing his Gromp.
We did manage to get that Grump in the last second, but they do know that both junglers are there, which you can see by these bot laners just backing up a little bit, not wanting to play too aggressive, as Lian's recalling here. And this could potentially lead to some kind of push, especially with the Xin Zhao just out of vision there. But I can imagine both junglers, they want to reset here. They want to play for something else. They got their top side buff spawning, so get out of this area and set up for those.
Yeah, absolutely. What's jungle if you're not full clearing, right? Let's not waste time. Let's just full clear. Camps are up. time to do due diligence. As obviously top lane, a bit boring. I'm a bit surprised to see Loopy so far ahead in CS. When a Nikki really has the sustain available to him and can farm range creeps pretty easily with the briefcase. It's Gabby taking a big chunk here.
Big chunk indeed, and both these laners are about halfway to level 6. So once they get this ultimate online, this is when this Sin Actra's Seraphine Ashe bot lane becomes even stronger, if you ask me. I mean, look at this poke already coming out from Actors. I think Kenny has to be very careful as these minions crashes. They can only presume that these junglers are topside, so they're safe in a sense of this 2v2. I think this is going to be a good chance for some plates.
Yeah, heal's up soon for Kenny, so he shouldn't be dying anytime soon. No, yeah, he is just going to base, just collecting the XP off that wave. And yeah, plates going over to Sin, and also that CS lead for Sin is significant. That's 2 waves there to Sin, just catapults him into the gold lead.
No, I mean, that gold lead does just balance out about 1k here, mixed between plates and that first blood kill. So not the craziest bit of a lead, but enough to just get things rolling. And you can see the pressure in this side of thing as there's Leon looking to move onto Bear Tree here. They may not know that Tweak is there waiting over the wall. Will fire out that spear just to kind of keep some pressure out. They will back out. Bit low on mana on this Anivia, but that does mean a setup for this Fellow Crab. And maybe even a potential start on the Dragon. There we go.
Yeah, with this build that JB's felt like he needs to go, those early Mercs, it just means he doesn't have the AP available to match Bear Tree's wave clear. So we saw it with him giving up the crab, and now it's like
Leon's going in.
The Dragon.
He steals it. He gets the smite off. He manages to steal it away, flashing over the wall. Tweak is not having anything there, dashing over on their own. But the rest of the team unable to follow, as that is a huge steal for the Bandits.
Huge steal for the Bandits, yeah. Leanne wasn't on Vision, which is good, because otherwise I'd say Bear Tree should have invested the Crystallize onto the back of the pit, because I'm pretty sure that would delay Aatrox's E, and he wouldn't be able to dash into the pit, but really nice steal from Leanne. Just a sneaky ward to the back, placed down by Kenny. Lets him track that dragon health and snipe it away. And now Leanne is up significant gold as he's Tweak's coming in and just shots him down.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? That was the lack of the ward potentially there. No, never mind that. Tweak actually walked over the ward. Yeah, Sin was just able to take the pick right there. And looked like Kenny might not even had level 6 themselves, so they weren't able to keep them. No, they do have it.
They do have it, and they also have
chunked
flash.
out too fast. Yeah.
So getting hit by John the Crystal Arrow is how do I want to phrase this? Shouldn't be getting hit by it. You know what? I'm just gonna say shouldn't be getting hit by John the Crystal Arrow there with flash and ult up. As now we're seeing Leanne taking grubs, which means both early objectives go over to the side of the Bandits.
Yeah.
Still 1.1k behind though. No, sorry, 1.5k behind.
But that's okay in this situation, right? I don't think in this team comp you're prepared to be ahead in gold, and now you're ahead on 2 objectives, so you're in a very comfortable state right here. Getting that steal just puts even more pressure on the Broad and Friends just time frame of how much time the Bandits have here to scale. You can't get that Dragon win condition as early. Sure, the Broad and Friends comp does scale nicely themselves, but when we're looking at Loopy here, for example, look at their first item. They are not playing for lane. They are playing for these team fights. They are playing for these later big engages, and that's what I like to see from this, just confidence from this Bandit side. We can go behind in gold, but we will not go behind in objectives.
Loopy has ult. I was wondering if he was going to try and get a Nicky's ultimate out himself, because the Brittle Procs do so much damage. Bear Tree getting jumped on there.
Bear Tree jumped on by 3. There we see Kenny just getting an assist through that healing, and that's a nice pickup, giving the Bandits their first kill right there. Very, very nicely done.
And we've seen this combo work out this split in the UKEL, but Ryze Aatrox. Ryze is just able to slow all root down as we've seen the Realm War.
They're going in. They're looking for bot side. Sin forced to flash out of that one, as that was a really nice just power play from them. Getting the kill in the mid lane, pushing it in, and then instantly going towards bot lane. Getting that flash out from this mobility carry. Very important.
Very important, especially because it gives Leanne access to properly take someone out. This bot lane doesn't have a ton of reach, right? You've got the Yunara running forward with the cozy campfire on top of her, but in terms of setup, he barely had anything. So with that Ashes flash down, Liang can pop the World Ender and close the distance successfully to land those initial knockups.
Exactly that. It also puts pressure on Akers here to be the peel they need to keep them alive as they're looking for the full engage, the CC layering, but the amount of tenacity you get from the Milio ultimate right there, just buying time, and even with that Encore, the big Seraphine ultimate just barely CCing them. Very nicely done.
Really nicely done. Yeah, and that's the power of Milio, right? It was a really nice pickup in draft. The Breath of Life is utilized incredibly well, and Gabby's just able to walk out of a very dire situation.
Well, that's the trust right there. We spoke about the cleanse at the start. Gabby doesn't need it.
I need to. Right. I think Cyclosword Aatrox is bait. I think its damage item is funny. More than it's a good item, to be honest. I think Shojin is just so much stronger on the champion. Especially when there's only 2 frontliners and the bandits comp. I don't think you want lethality on this Aatrox. Like, if you're on top of Anivia or on top of Ashe, you don't need the slow, in my opinion, from Cyclosword. You're already crowd controlling them. They don't have dashes. So I think it's kind of just pouring a cup of water into the ocean, in my opinion.
It's true, but you have to consider just how much initial extra burst you can get through those pure stats you get through the item. And in this situation,
Shojin still has damage, right?
Shojin still has damage.
Top lane.
Oh, Luffy finally trading everything there, forcing a Nikki to ult and flash out, as that's a nice combo from the Ornn there, just using that max health damage on the passive, getting everything together. I mean, you know what? This Zeke's item, I like it. It's
kind of cool. Really rising in priority. As we're seeing a fight in the bot lane.
Sin, no flash there, is going to have to do whatever they can to just buy some time for their team to join them. Will get taken down. We're seeing the TP as here comes Nikki on the Mundo, but they don't have their ultimate or flash available. They only have the Warmogs here to just keep themselves the massive health bar, but a very, very nice rotation from JB, giving them the kill and potentially prio on this dragon.
And hey, you blow a flash, you revisit.
Yep.
Just easy macro. However, JB is facing now, and Broad have gone, you know what, we don't care. We've got the Mundo here, so we might as well just take this dragon. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Liang doesn't have a ward to steal it. So it is the first dragon for Broad going over, and though it is diminishing, Broad have maintained their gold lead still as we're approaching 15 minutes.
And you do have to question why the bandits were just so scared to start out themselves in the situation where they were in the 4v4, but I guess they don't really want to leave their top laner alone for too long in that situation, so they do lose out on the objective, but I'm sure getting that kill just brings such confidence to them, knowing that they can just play the map better. They're rotating through these lanes so much faster. Here we go, there's it again. Here comes the Realm Warp, will stun them through the wall, trying to force JB to run around, but it won't be enough. Here comes the egg, but it's only delaying the inevitable, as they're going to try everything they can to give this kill to their eyes, and JB gets the kill.
Oh, so just pure power of Zeke's convergence there, right? The Forge God is calling you so much. There, words are hard. The Forge God is calling us on way more often, and I think Beartree just didn't respect the ability. It's 20 ultimate haste, right? So it's so much extra cooldown given over to the Ornn, and he's allowed to make plays like that. It was a nice attempt from Beartree to wall off, hoping that it could block the Searing Charge out of Loopy, but unfortunately Loopy did commit the flash, and just a really nice secure and plates going over to the bandit.
Do trade down a tower there, but we do see this Herald top side. Looks like Leon is already on that, so they will get an objective towards their side. But I have to give a shout out to JB here. The proactiveness on this ultimate, the Realm Warp just almost feeling like it's being used off cooldown, is huge here, as they even sneak around behind Tweak, as we're going to have to see if they're going to force a fight here. They do have the support there.
I think they have the reach.
But they're going to look into it. The chains connect. Won't be able to pull back this Anivia. I don't see much more happening here.
No, it's just a stand-up. And look at the space that Nikki is in. Just beating down JB. Gonna take a play here as Ritter is summoned up top. Should be able to take out this tower and then charge onto another. The wall not connecting.
Oh, here comes the engage. They're forcing onto Bear Tree and Nivea. No flash and no chance of surviving that as the second Herald charge is coming through. Akers has since rotated up here, but with just the Xin Zhao, it's going to be a hard time to try and defend this tower. Sin also now on the moving, but needs to be careful that they don't walk into Lian, who is casually going through this jungle.
There is a ward on Lian, so I'd be very surprised if Sin walks up too far into him. But all that work that Nikki just did down in the bot lane, taking that tower and then hitting plates on the tier 2 is immediately undone by this Rift Herald. And JB was matching Aniki the whole time, which is great because JB just wants to scale. Sure, getting kills is great, but right now he's a Rise with Rod of Ages. He is more than happy just to farm up. And look, he's 30 CS up on Bear Tree.
Exactly that. I mean, they have the 3 stacks there. The tier is fully stacked as well, so they can just slowly work towards their items. All their scaling items have already been purchased, so now it's just a matter of just getting as much gold as they can to get these big mid to late game items. And I mean, Rise they have the flash, they have the ghost available, so they can probably feel very confident in any situation 1v1 because they can just kite that out. So now it's really going to come down to who do you want to set up on which lanes and how do you want to prep for this next dragon. Gold being just, barely 500 to the Broads. And right now, dragons are 1-1, so whoever can get their second dragon will set up their tempo.
Absolutely, and if we look at items right now, that's 2 items completed for Sin, that Phantom Dancer, giving him actually some critical move speed to get away from the Bandit's rundown. Going to be very important here, as Aniki popping ult 40 seconds before Dragon, and Loopy not investing the Call of the Forge God.
They're looking for something here.
They're looking to get the tower, but it means there's fewer numbers down by this Dragon Pit. And look, Kenny and Liang can just invade and set up their vision lines.
Yep.
And Bandits are just cut off.
Yeah, they're going to have to walk into this vision line of the Bandits here. Broad just won't be able to set up here, as even now they're sending a lot of members towards this top side. And this is a very big tanky Orin. I'm not sure how confident they can be enforcing it. He did dash in and decides to take the fight, but we'll just dash away. Look at these tanky items he has. He can happily take that fight and not worry about losing it.
It's just
Akers is left to defend the mid lane tower. And he's going to maybe fall for it.
Oh, Gabby going in. The slow from the blade of the ruin.
The encore! Akers stunning Gabby under tower. The tower doesn't take it down. No, he barely survives with the barrier. But that right there does set up his dragon for the Bandit.
Oh, very scary moment from Akers. Normally, you don't see Yunara's running the Blade of the Ruin King, but obviously into Sin Zhao Mundo, it makes a ton of sense, and that slow prop coming off from the 3 hits, doing a ton of work, allowing Gabby to hit that Arc of Ruin as well. Akers, you're very lucky for living there. Very, very lucky. Lian, going in, saying hi, dipping out.
Oh, never mind that. He does dash in, committing the TP from Bear Tree just to be safe here, I guess. Or maybe they just really want this blue buff, which does go over to Sin, so I'm sure Bear Tree wasn't too happy about that. But meanwhile, Lian did pick up that dragon there, which is absolutely essential, because getting all these Chemtech dragons will just make you so much tankier in just the sense of damage you can take in these team fights as this game goes on.
Oh, yeah. We're seeing now the Sundered Sky getting completed for Lian, the Seraphs also getting completed for JB. So everyone on Bandits is pretty comfortably onto items. Tweaks lagging behind a bit on the item department. Bear Tree face checking Lian.
Yeah, and the arrow goes wide as Lian's going to try and out-heal this fight. And flash in from Kenny trying to keep them alive wasn't quite enough, but Gabby in a good position to deal a lot of damage back. Does end up being 1-for-1 as a good pick coming from Broad.
Yeah, really nice. Unfortunate for Sin for the arrow going wide, but probably predicting Lian to dash to the side, so I get it. Now, JB pushing out that top side, has the Ram Warp available, so I wonder maybe if a dive is going to occur here, but Rods are converging on the mid lane. So it'll be a very ambitious play to take down this tower, but no. Can't with those numbers, and with Kenny not having the ultimate available, Gabby's going to be forced to back up and just wait for that wave to reach him instead. Ooh, that demolished!
Doing whatever they want, looking to try and take down this tower. Also forced to trade their flash. They don't just be dealing with that tanking tower anymore. Loopy, not having any of it, does trade back a significant piece of damage. As these items on Orin are just very, very cool to see, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's just gonna scale them through once they can actually get proper tank items rather than these cheaper alternatives. They will just become such an incredible force. They already are an incredible force, but they can only get stronger right here. So I'm really keen to see how Luffy scales this one up. Same going over for JB here. They have just been farming up a feast on these side lane right here. Only 2 more stacks to go before that Rod of Ages completes, and they will be getting their 3rd item in no time.
And I really like how you mentioned not just the Zeeks, but like this protoplasm on the Ornn, because not only does it give him a ton of healing as the sole frontliner for your team, not the sole frontliner, but like Leanne's probably looking for a flank.
Yeah.
Right, so you're the one who's walking in first. It's also giving her a ton of tenacity. Seraphine's power is she has really long range crowd control. So she can follow up the Anivia and the Ashe slows really easily. And this just allows Loopy to get out of the fight when he's low and he sees an exit opportunity.
Yep, exactly. He's getting that healing, and as well is just so essential here as we're getting towards this point where the next dragon is spawning about mid and half. Baron already on the map. So now you can see how these teams are going to prioritize which they want to go for and how they set it up. Rod having the advantage here that they have a tower, alright, still in their mid lane, so just having a bit more map control here. As it looks like Baron will be hit. Here comes the arrow, not the arrow, full shot. They get vision of it.
Bear Tree doesn't have teleport. This is a really nice read from the Bandits. There's a Nikki walking in here.
It's very tanky, the healing coming through. Can they keep themselves alive for long enough? They can, but they're surrounded by members everywhere. Akker's ultimate onto 2, as Sin isn't able to quite DPS this yet, as no one has fallen, but the Baron take has been denied.
That was very, very scary. Anarchy only just got that shock therapy proc off to get the healing, as timing just a bit off for Bear Tree there, not landing the 3-man stun. And Anarchy, look, we haven't talked about him a lot this game, but happily on 3 items, level 16, he hits like a truck. Unfortunately, when he's alone, even though he's getting the bonus healing from his ult, like, he can still be melted. That's a Blade of the Ruin King Yunara.
I know, and it's a buff one too through the Ornn. It looks like Brod will be able to get this Baron, because they just, not only did they deny that before, they forced Bandits into a rough spot to retreat, because that whole time was essentially a 4v5, because Bear Tree was keeping push in the mid lane. Joined the fight late, didn't have to do more than that, and now they reset quickly. Dragon just spawning now. Bandits are forced to try and potentially rush this before the rest of Brod can join.
Don't know if they can, to be honest. Prod look ready for a scrap here.
Has dashed in there. Luffy is being chunked down to thing, but will be able to get the knock up there. How much time is going to buy? Tweak will be forced to flash out and does get taken down. That is 1 member down for Broad, as now they put their attention onto JB, forced to flash away. Arrow does not connect. Broad is not done yet with this fight. They have the health bar advantages. Looks like the dragon will be secured by Leanne, as now the fight confused. The Encore connecting onto 2, but Akkers is getting blown up. He's still alive as Leanne is stuck in the middle. Will get taken down. Aniki, this incredible tank, is tanking so much damage as Sin has joined this fight here. Will look to take down Loopy. Meanwhile, behind JB got a kill onto Akkers, and Sin with Bear Tree is looking to chase this down. The flash for a flash trade for Bear Tree and Kenny there will end this fight, but what a series of events we just saw.
And Bandits, yes, you get your 3rd dragon, but Broad are here to fight, and they've got a Baron, so they're going to be knocking down these inhibitor towers. Anarchy, popping that maximum dosage with that many champions around, will get more healing from it. And you know what, I thought Gabby was going to shred it, but no, Gabby's 4 levels down on this top laner, and really just doesn't have the damage output. He doesn't have the DPS.
I mean, we just shout out this Aniki Mundo here being on the 001 right now. And here we go. There's your gold.
He's 4k up
Yeah.
on Loopy. Look, I'm not expecting Loopy to be permanently split pushing, right? You see his build and you go, well, Loopy's trying to start fights. And it makes a lot of sense, so he's grouping more and dropping gold. A lot of that gold is also tower plates. Like, Aniki is basically soloed 3 towers this game.
Yeah.
But, you know, gold means nothing if it's not getting used. But that fight definitely showed the power of Aniki's inventory.
Yeah. So the essential thing to think about there is Bandits did get their dragon, putting them on 3, and they are now 1 away from that soul. And if they can get that, it will be a kind of just crazy good situation to put them in. But is Broad going to ever allow them to get into that position again, as they have now escalated their gold lead to nearly 4k? Here comes the fight as they're trying to burst down this Mundo. The healing, not quite enough as he's taken down. 2 kills over to the Bandits. The Realm Warp coming in hot here as Beartree is stuck between all of them. Will get taken down, and right then and there, the Bandits get 3 kills.
Brod, you've drafted a comp with very little mobility, and Loopy is just there to punish it. This B5 Orm pick doing dividends, and like I was saying, if you're not using your gold and your leads, it doesn't really matter for Aniki. Is unable to pop the W heal, is unable to pop his ultimate because of the crowd control. I think he's really wishing he had Merc Treads right now for a bit of tenacity.
Exactly, and just Nikki not being able to survive any longer in that fight is the kind of downfall in Broad's team comp, right? As soon as this Mundo folds, there's no one else really.
Yeah,
just
Tweak's not that strong.
Yeah, so they need to just, you know, take the time while Aniki is tanking all this damage to get something in, but it didn't seem like the rest of Broad was maybe ready for a fight there. And the CC and the burst this time from JB. Look at that item they've now completed, right? They can just tap that, get so much extra burst for an extra mana cost, and it will just mean this Rise gets even stronger, as now with that Rod right there, the death cap essentially coming next will give them even more burst.
And if I can count to 3 correctly, Loopy should have an upgrade ready for JB. Which means even more mana, even more AP going over to this Rise, and he should be able to just pop Actualizer and shred.
You even see some anti-heal coming across from both sides here. I mean, 3 members from Bandits having it. I don't think they want to let this Mundo heal any more than he needs to. They've learned their lesson once, and now if you get it on 3 people, at least one of them should proc it in a situation.
It's an interesting choice by Gabby saying, I'm going to put the the anti-heal onto my Milio. Because my understanding of how item interactions work is the Milio passive burn from when you shield or heal a champion and their next auto will burn counts as that champion's damage, and so will not proc the Oblivion Orb.
Okay.
I remember this back in the day because it was a big topic of discussion when Nami Lucian was meta, and people used to be saying, stop going it on Nami, it doesn't work. So outside of Milio landing a football onto Aniki, I think it's a bit of a waste of gold.
Good thing that both Aatrox and Loopy have it here, as we have 10 seconds till this dragon spawns. The soul for Bandits if they get it, and Broad is going to be forced to have to walk into this, as JB is on the flank around it. We're going to have to see if he can get anything with that dragon. Not quite started up yet. This might be a slow burn and then an explosive fight. You do see Aniki trying to poke them out. Here comes Ornn with the ultimate. Will not get it up as they're stunned up, but JB on the side here will get walled up. Aniki tanking up as much as they can. The Realm Orb now used, but they get Lian first.
He's onto the back
and now he's into the middle of the fight, but a flash from Akers does keep him alive for just long enough, as now the rest of Bandits is forced to retreat out of this. They take down another. Flash from Gabby trying to get away from Tweak here, but Sin with the auto attacks, with the slows, gets another. The TP coming through from Aniki. They don't even care about this champion, as they have the open lane in the bot lane, and there's only one member left from Bandits to defend.
And it wouldn't be a Broad game if they didn't give the enemy team a glimmer of hope as they crushed them at the Dragon's Pit. The Dragon would have been so for Bandits, would have been so important, but just Gabby didn't have the damage output to take down this Mundo as JB got cut off by the Crystallize. And Bronze played that last fight incredibly well.
Yeah, using that wall just to not allow Rise to get that flank. I believe they didn't have flash either, so their only opportunity was to realm warp. But at that point, you're realm warping into the whole Broad team. They used their entire burst trying to take down Akers, who was able to flash out of that one. And once your damage is gone, there wasn't much left. And that right there did allow them to get that team fight kill. They didn't even need the Dragon at that point. Just send 5 members down bot lane and get that Nexus.
And it was close. Right, the mid game was pretty close. Broad did get a lead back and catapult themselves into a strong position through that Baron play.
Yeah,
but you know what, Bandits, they didn't just lay down their arms. Right, Loopy was really good at forcing these fights and seeing pick potentials on the map.
Yeah, exactly that. But it's a 1-0 so far for Broad. We've seen this before. Will they be able to get the second win? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see as we get the second game, but I'm sure the desk will have some points for us in a minute just to chat through them. So we'll see what the desk has to say, and then we'll prep for game 2.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, there was about 20 minutes, shall we say, Rob, of strictly by the book, and then it all kind of tore open.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into replays in a bit. I'm a little bit confused by the ending of that game behind the scenes.
I think to be like it was really
back and forth, and then I think Bandits just all fell apart in the final fight.
I don't know if it was an overabundance of hype, an over there's a certain item pickup that was very big, but this was the moment that the game really started breaking open. We see Bandit starting it up. Nick, take us from here.
So right now the Broad is not in a favorable position, and they just throw everything onto the Mundo. But for some reason, he's allowed to stay alive for way too long here.
Cue up the BGs.
Exactly. Staying alive. So then he just walks around, and with everything being thrown onto that Mundo, it just gives Broad the opportunity to just deep push, just get rid of that. And because they pushed the mid wave earlier, then they just get to press for the mid tower, and through that gets priority and just gets a free Baron. So before that, everything was pretty bad, I would say, for Broad and friends, but that just turned everything around.
Would it even be a Broad game though, Rob, if they didn't, throw an olive branch or two to the opposite team?
Yeah, so it looks like, again, it was very Bandit early. That play happens, which then leads to the Baron. Broad are then able to exert their will on the map. But then suddenly, what we see as we bring up the second replay is that we're going to have this weird moment where the Broad just they push too far again, and they get caught out. Mundo isn't able to get his W off, which doesn't heal him enough, so he just gets blown up. We also then see Tweak just being destroyed as well, and it means that Broad, they then have to run away. There you go. Here's the replay. Actually, this is the final fight.
This is Soul Point, I think.
This is the Soul Point fight, right?
Oh, this is the questionable
this is the Soul Point fight. So overall, you can see here as they're sort of posturing, Loopy steps too far forward. I'm skipping forward in my analysis now. He gets rooted. He can't get Sandcastle or not off. And I just want you to watch Rise in this fight. I think JB, he feels like he has to make something happen, and he ults directly into the 5 members. And everyone turns, and it's like, there's a Rise inside of us, kill him. And I think the Bandits, they just miscommunication. They felt a little bit, uneasy about how the game was going. I mean, Mundo, he's level 18 at this point. He's just unkillable. Bandit showed great early game. A few mistakes here and there, which I don't think that trying to kill Inky earlier, for example, was a mistake. It just didn't happen. And then in this late game fight, I think they all fell apart. I think if they do get a solid lead, they usually look pretty good. So I'm kind of surprised at the ending of this game.
Well, we say that when they get a solid lead, they were definitely leading in terms of presence on the map, but that was never showing, at least in the numbers. Of course, the on items came through, so despite, for a good portion of the game, Broad having a theoretical gold lead, it was still gold-wise at least, or at least, gold on champions-wise, it was pretty even. It just felt like Bandits were maybe like 5-10% getting more out of the plays for the most part.
I think both
unreasonable?
teams were they were playing on opposite side of the map. So every time a play was happening, something else was happening on the other side of the map as well, meaning that both teams were getting gold income. Anivia got camped quite a lot. Every time she spawns, she was killed immediately
Poor
almost.
Beatrice.
So that egg, I think we've seen a couple of times just getting broken immediately. And you saw that in the stats as well. But apparently an Anivia wall is enough to make a Ryze click ultimate into your team. So in the end, the Anivia was just worth the counter pick.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just like the battery dropped a lot this game as well. I just want to say that. I think if you look at the actual CS numbers as well, he was giving everything over. Like Aniki was permanently pushing sides, and then he was giving all of this, a lot of the CS, unless he picked a wave deep on side at battery. It was all going into the back pocket of Sin, which, looking at it now, is that what caused them to win the game or lose the game? No, but it is an interesting thing to look at as we go into game 2, because Betri is often seen as being this incredibly good mid laner, and if he's taking a back foot, others have to step up. And I don't know if this game, the ending of this game, was a step up from the Broad players or a bit of a mistake from the Bandits players. The Broad curse could possibly see me live. I still said Broad would win this game, so somehow by some voodoo magic, I controlled Ryze. But game 2, it's a fresh start. It's a fresh game, as Broad has told us before.
Well,
you questioned me on the cast of curses, and then you do it yourself. It's crazy.
Broad,
Rob in.
the job is half done, Broad. Gonna go in one more game to get your hoped for, your intended outcome. Of course, that is going to be a few minutes away, so we are going to head to a brief break, and we'll be back to see if the curse can be lifted, or if the Bandits will keep them to the 1-1.
Oh, Malphite. All right, here we go. Just Still going for this space, you would as Chimera super low.
But there's the Rakan coming in for the shielding. The shielding again. Oh my god!
And everyone bow down to Venom Crest. Two-time champions bow down to Jim.
Oh, we're live.
Welcome back, everybody. After a very exciting first game in which Brod and friends eventually pick up the win off the back of... I mean, I think it was that, yeah, that JB just couldn't see over the Anivia wall, like where he was ulting to, perhaps. And
Possibly.
Maybe. Yeah.
it didn't go too well. I mean, let's be that situation. Even if he had realm warped better, that situation was not looking great for Bandits anyway, considering they'd already lost Lian. The Aatrox had been destroyed. I was worried, I'll say. Obviously, a 3-item rise actualizer is actualizing... Well, actualizing my brain, apparently, is actually terrifying.
They just didn't play it slow enough.
It turns out Ak had something to say about it, because he got locked up and died.
Again, they didn't play slow enough. That's one of the things I will mention there. Once the ult comes down from Loopy and it's not reactivated, I think they kind of panicked because they're so used to just, we have to blow up the Mundo, we have to blow someone up on the front line. I think they just freaked out and they ended up just Rise going, well, I've got to go in and make a play happen because I've already lost one member. When you're in that situation, as the mage, you almost have to recognize. It's a bit like Azias who are addicted to shuffling. You have to recognize you play it slow and then look for your moment. You can't force the situation. So going into game 2, I want to see a little bit more patience from the Bandits because I do think there was a few moments in this game where they, not just that one, where they did overplay their hand quite a bit.
Obviously, nothing fearless here. We're going into a completely fresh new draft in a few moments' time. Oh, look at that. Perfect timing. Thanks, production, for making me look damn slick. Some similar bans coming through already. We see the Rumble go, we see the Ori go, we see the Gwen go. Do we expect the bans to really change going into this game, Nick?
I don't think the bans will change, but the priority might shift because I don't think Border fans do value. Like, I don't think they think Yunara is that valuable. The AD carry that I start seeing being blinded is, for example, an Ezreal, and Ezreal is historically not that great into tanks. The Mundo ban would be quite something because then Loopy is like, okay, I still need to play like a tank engage. So that might actually be an issue. Zahen is also taken away, so I think the flex power is being taken away from Brother Fencer. I think that is the biggest thing that I'm witnessing here, that I'm really looking forward to. There's, of course, a couple of power picks still left. The Azirs, for example, one that Rob just mentioned. Not sure if Battery plays it a lot. So the Mel. So it is the Mel. What can you really play against the Mel? Well, not that much, to be honest. Like, very long range. Immobile, just had a little bit of movement speed, but the W can block a lot of damage. So like even an assassin can't really do much. Maybe like a Kiana would be a decent answer, but
Victor
might as well
is
pick
actually
a
good answer. This is statistically, Victor has a pretty good matchup into the likes of the Mel.
I was looking for a Syndra, maybe, personally.
Does Sin play it bot? I haven't seen much Mel bot. I'm just very surprised with seeing them being willing to just slam Mel B1.
I mean, this is Brod. I wouldn't put it past them trying to flex it, but also, this is, like, Mel has very much been a Battery bread and butter this split, so we shall see, I suppose. It looks like Ashe is being considered. Bandits will lock that one in on their R2. So what do we want to pair with the Mel now is the question. Obviously, there's no hard and fast Giga combos, really.
Corki, maybe? Like, you just play a range? Corki?
Am I going crazy? I did the host the other time when we saw Bandits versus Gucci, and the owner of the Bandits, Yaron, was saying, this is the easiest Jarvan angle of my life. They've just locked Victor Ashe. And his own players have just done the thing he flamed Gucci for on the previous broadcast. Am I going insane?
Maybe.
Welp,
Jarvan is locked in though. Sion is locked in as well. So 2 beefy boys with the Mel in the back. I think that is a very strong front to back start already. You really only need to like get a. You can either like go a Caitlyn to make sure that you can actually like bully the Ashe through the minion waves. But you can also say like, okay, just give me like something like a Zeri, for example, that can go through the walls everywhere. The Wukong I find very questionable, but we have it here. Maybe it's gonna be a AoE wombo combo team fighting comp from the Bandits.
It's the same jungler
So Ben
that
Karma?
Gucci picked against them as well. It's literally they're picking
they-
Gucci's combos.
are
They
they just
complained
reading the
about being
previous-
bad.
Karma ban? Anyone?
Karma's already banned. It's already gone in first phase. So
Yeah,
they are
true.
at least
Yeah,
pinched.
yeah, yeah.
They already pinched a little bit in the pool here. I do think Brown. I just think it's a bit interesting that we have seen like the Seraphine. Like they picked the Wukong, right? I'm surprised they didn't go for like the Seraphine on 3 just to secure that bot lane pairing. I think it's still very strong, and I think it makes a lot of sense. But if we're seeing here now, they're going to be able to pinch, like, say, Nico can take it off the board as well. So you remove a lot of the aggression the Ashe lane can bring if it's paired with these more, like, aggressive supports. Kenny also plays quite a lot of Nico, so it would make a lot of sense to maybe consider that one. Braum, if you want to get rid of it, I could see it, but I also don't know if I really like Bandits picking Braum at the moment, just because of the Mel, for example.
You kind of want to ban it away, because if Broad picks Braum, then
Yeah.
it's a big issue.
And what do you blind? You'd have to blind here though. Support. You can just go for your top lane pick here for Loopy. He gets
Nico
his
is
choice.
good into Braum.
I feel like you just kind of have to.
Yeah. I would go Ornn again. I would just slam the Ornn again.
Yeah.
It's not banned.
There's
And I would
also
just
like
say
the
into
Ornn
silence,
does
chill.
provide a level of not safety, but it gives you a way out that doesn't involve flash because you can searing charge down the Cataclysm wall.
They're just going
Yeah.
to go XP2 here. Shen.
I suppose
With
so.
the Dusk and Dawn.
It's got to be top, right? It's not going to be a Wukong top lane. Loopy did tweet saying we've cooked some stuff up, Shen jungle again, tee-hee. But I don't think you're putting Wukong top, and Wukong support is a bit of a stretch to me.
Wukong top hasn't worked since they took away Divine Sundra.
Yeah,
And this is someone who loved playing Wukong top.
okay. So they're going to get the.
Do you
bot-
think they're reading Shen's supports?
It's a flex. It's a possible. I think that's what they're doing
Possible? I
because Shen
don't
top here is
like it.
odd. Shen top here is a bit weird because I feel like you're still like you've got Ash Arrow, but you're against like Mel Sion, so I don't really know how you're going to be landing an arrow into the enemy team. And so I think the Shen is maybe like a flex, they're taking top and they're looking to flex and see what they can drag out of the bot lane matchups. Jinx,
this This is such a good just front to back.
yeah,
Just
probably got a great
two
Really
solid
chill.
carries, ton of disruption. Bandits, what can you do to disrupt this? Like, I thought about the Urgot briefly, but it's gone. Obviously, we've got the Shen. Like, we're looking for what, top or a support?
Okay, so-
Rel, sure.
Well-
Can he find the sort of Brexit support flank angle?
Kind of makes sense, but mostly because of Sion's enhanced teleport, right? So when Rel uses a Q, it's completely gone, but there's not that much shield breaking to be done. Maybe Rel is being picked here to jump into the Sion Jarvan to steal the resistances. That's my guess, to make Ash's job a little bit easier. But what I usually see from Ashe is that they go attack speed very early on, and I very much dislike that because that means you will be doing no damage to tanks at all. So at the very least, I need Gabby to pick up a BF sword at the start of the game.
I think Rel makes some sense in that they are seriously lacking actual like consistent engage. There's a problem with Wukong, and that is he really doesn't like going in first.
He
right?
doesn't want to
He's
be
a
the
champion
first.
that- He doesn't want to have
the
to
Shen
use E.
The Shen does sort of bandage that a little bit because you can go aggressive with Stand United on top of
It's
the
not enough.
Wukong.
It's
I
not
agree.
enough.
I
Because you
agree
have
it's
to use
not
both
enough.
gap closers. You have to use both gap closers as Wukong if you want to be primary engage, and then you're sat there in the enemy team. Shen shield is an extra 300 HP, right? It's not going to keep you alive against the kind of damage that's going to be put out here by a
If
Mel.
it is the Pt.2 Shen, it actually shields for a lot more.
But it's a missing health shield. So as a tool for primary engage, it's not as beneficial. I really think the Rel makes a lot of sense for them to bring in here to actually start fights on their own terms. I think they need to take engage here on R5. I think they're really lacking. That's what's surprising about the Shen as opposed to the Ornn, because the matchup in top lane, Ornn versus Sion, pretty chill. Also one of Loopy's best champs. Is this Loopy trying to flex his champ pool? Possibly. I do not like this Bandits draft. I know I've pulled some funny faces. I think it lacks. It's lacking a little bit of engage here. With like Rel is fine, but like you're against Nico, you're against J4. There's a Sion standing in the way. Kenny's gonna have to find angles, and then look at on the other side of the rift. Broad and Friends have a front to back draft. Oh my god, it's going to be a 2-0. Broad might actually break. Broad might actually break the curse. Broad will definitely break the 2-0 curse today. It's going to happen, isn't it, Nick?
I do think so. But I will say this is just because, well, maybe not just because, we'll have to see in game, but right now, I think there is a massive draft gap.
I agree. I really like what Broad has put together, and there are some big question marks about the Bandits. And we'll see if your pontificating and weird esports voodoo has any effect as we are going to throw it back into the game. Rory, Dubby, take it away before they do more weird spells.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
My mic's been muted. Apologies on that. No, Rory, what were you thinking about that draft? We were very unsure about that.
Yeah, so I feel like I have deja vu because Rob pointed out exactly. Like, we've seen that kind of draft order before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we keep answering Jarvan with the Wukong instead of just picking the Jarvan.
Yeah.
Right? Mel is very easy to lock down with Jarvan. So I don't really know what Bandits were thinking by early picking the Ashe, who like has a fine lane, but Nico can bully her pretty effectively. Yeah. So it's not even that great of a second pick. And I just love Broad's comp compared to Bandit. Bandits are a bit more like a solo queue comp, you know?
So it has a lot more engage in a sense that they can really send it here. We were talking about the submarine style Shen engage with Wukong, and maybe the Shen ultimate being able to enable the Wukong to go in first, giving him that extra shield, a bit of extra taunt. You know, that power is there, but it relies a lot on just playing a team fight very, very perfectly, or even to the point of where you're playing your team fight just better than Broad and Friends. And Broad and Friends, they looked very good last game in their team fighting. So the Bandits are putting a lot of faith in that, hey, we're going to do it better this game.
It's also really easy for Broad to team fight. Like, you have a Sion or a Jarvan, either can engage incredibly easily. You've got a Nico there also, so whenever she has flash up, it's a 4-man Pot Blossom because the champion is a bit... some say unbalanced, but the champ is very good at locking up an entire team very easily. And then you look at the answers and you're like, oh, I got Jarvan cataclysmed. At least I got my Shen W to protect me. It's like, no, it doesn't work. I don't particularly like it. Frankly, the only saving grace right now for the Bandits comp is that Serpent's Fang isn't bought immediately by any of the champions on Broad's team. And if that's what you're hoping for, it's a rough position to find yourself in.
Yeah, but the chance is still there. I mean, both these team fights, imagine will be very grouped up together. Yes, the Jarvan can kind of punish that more with the Cataclysm and just with everything else they can kind of throw into it. So these team fights, I imagine, are going to be from like 0 to just big, right? They're going to explode out of nowhere. And then one team's just going to be a matter of dishing out more damage before the first. However, you do have the slight advantage with this Ashe pick, that just ranged pick potential to really get you that initial team fight first could be the advantage. And this time there's no Milio or anything to cleanse out of that sin, not having cleanse here either. Almost accepting to the point where it's saying, hey, if I get hit by that arrow, I'm already dead.
Yeah, but I think it is important to remember that in those late game moments, Gabby has fewer targets than he would like to hit with that arrow because Tweak can buffer out an EQ if the arrow's coming. You don't care if you're Anarchy getting hit by that. And Beartree can just reflect it.
Yeah.
So realistically, you have 2 targets, and if Akers is on the ball and sends out his clone, you've got 1 target.
Yeah. No, exactly that. I mean, you just have these kind of just tools to kill stuff alive, and you know what? I like this mill too. You can turn around these entire team fights, these entire kind of engages, and just, you know, saying, hey, not your arrow, but my arrow instead. So let's see how this works out. As this time junglers are starting opposite sides of the map, we will see Lian here moving towards their Shen first, maybe trying to get some kind of priority there. But Tweak getting onto this bot side first, this thing I want to see, because if you can get these flashes down, we saw how much the bandits punished Sin last game with the flashless Ashe. Is that something Broad's going to do as well this game?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised as well if both junglers just focus on mid lane a lot. Like, in this Mel Victor matchup, because they buffed Mel Q, she wins it slightly better when she gets a few more points into the queue. But if one of them gets a kill ahead, instantly it's like complete wave control, river control.
Yeah.
For one of them. So super important, especially for Tweak on this Jarvan, it's very easy for him to early gank. I want to be seeing proactive plays out of him.
Yep. So now the junglers will be finishing that clear. We won't get any kind of early fights this time like we did last time to contest these Scuttle Crabs. Could potentially even see a bit of a slower game overall, because both these comps really just seem like they want to fight it out. Once they get their level 6s, they just get so much stronger all throughout each other. And they just have, they each have their own kind of unique interactions between it. As yeah, now the junglers both on these crabs. Tweak just setting up a vision line here for both sides. And the bot lane from Broad can just play so aggressive now because they just know for a fact this Wukong is not anywhere nearby. Is likely even going to be spotted away on that ward. So we'll have to see if they can play for anything, maybe even try and just pressure away Gabby and Kenny here to just keep them nervous. And Nikki here, like, they can just be fine here. I don't think a Scion is at too much risk, but who knows? We'll have to see what they go for.
Shouldn't be at a risk. Like, you might get a flash out, but it's very unlikely that you kill here unless Aniki plays pretty horribly.
Aggressive, does get taunted through.
Doesn't
and
flash the dash.
Being used just to commit. I think Aniki's just going to try and go for as much farm as they can, but that's a first blood for Loopy.
Yeah, so Aniki saw the amount of time his jungler was taking down bot lane until he based and just kind of assumed Lian had based as well. It was nice patience from Lian. But I don't... Aniki not flashing the Shadow Dash, I kind of understand it because Wukong wasn't shown on vision, and you are Scion, so you can pick up a lot of that wave and not really care about the death timer.
Yeah.
Even still, really nice play from Lian. 1 kill going over to Loopy. I wouldn't be surprised if Loopy is going first item Zeke's like he did last game. He showed he's willing to drop lane priority in order for team play potential. So Akers getting some poke onto JB. Should half health him, but I don't think there's a kill angle. But just helping win that lane there from Akers. Really nice support roam.
Yeah, and just disguising them momentarily as that Jarvan here, just to probably give a bit of more confusion there. As if anything, you see the Jarvan, you're mentally preparing for the flag and drag. But when you see that root comes out, you're caught off guard, and it's an easy setup. So nicely done there to just get a bit of chunk and just keep some kind of pressure on the map. As we do see Kenny getting caught out here, trying to get some vision down, but should be able to walk out of this one.
Should be fine. Tweak will have EQ coming up soon. Just hits the queue and walks away. No camps available immediately for Tweak. Waiting on that crab to come up. I don't think he's going to be starting Dragon anytime soon. Aniki is pushing in, but has 6.
Yeah.
So Lian, a lot harder to gank this Scion up in the top lane unless Aniki immediately ults top to catch the wave. But I think it's very unlikely with the state the wave's going to be in. First Dragon now going over to Broad and Friends. That extra poke coming out from Akers, helping Beartree push out the wave, and then come over to secure that dragon.
Yeah, this time being on the blue side, they don't have to worry about an opposing jungler dashing over that wall to steal it away. They get the first dragon this time, giving themselves a bit more priority. They're, you know, still a bit behind in gold just through that first blood. but they can easily get that back through plates in a moment, as Gabby does get
It's
poked a bit
rough.
under tower. Yeah, they're not having the best of times here. We do see Leon there. We'll just give some kind of coverage and not kind of, scare Broad away from a dive, but still, this Ashe on their own doesn't have any kind of sustain outside of just that heal from the Rel, so any damage they take will linger until they reset.
And it's just the trading power of Sin versus Gabby right now. Sin based on equal gold, but that BF sword is just far stronger right now than the recurve bow dagger that Gabby has.
Yeah.
And it means he can just kind of destroy this lane as Tweaks found an angle onto Kenny.
Oh, they do get the knock up there, but won't look for more as the Wukong has been lingering here, but that's just another good amount of poke and chunked out. And I mean, Broad, they could look for a dive. Yes, the Wukong is just waiting right there, but the health bars are not on Bandits' favor. So it's more of a matter of if they can just buy some time under tower. They won't look for too much here, I don't believe. Leon is just trying to stay out of that vision line from that ward. They will not look for more, but we're already seeing such immense pressure. Look at the CS gap right there, right? 20 towards Sin.
Massive.
Just for shoving Gabby onto tower again.
And remember, Akka's also roamed. So it's not a situation where your support roams and you have to dip on CS because of it. The support roamed and Sin is up in CS. Oh, the rocket coming out. Almost took out Gabby, though. He did have the barrier, so I'm sure he would have popped it if he recognized he was in lethal range.
Yeah.
But the wave is getting pushed in for Sin, and that's 6 more minions dead to tower that Gabby will not be able to capitalize on.
That and plates on top of that. If they so choose, they will just reset instead. But they probably have a nice bit of gold here to just buy some items. And yeah, we see even more components going towards them. As Ashe here is just lacking any kind of significant combat items right there. And it's going to struggle as this game goes on more and more. However, it's Ashe, right? They don't need to be ahead necessarily. That arrow, that crystal arrow is just so powerful. The vision they can get as well gives them so much. So as an AD carry goes, if you're going to go behind on one, Ashe is not the worst.
Also, I believe Gabby's going towards the Kraken Slayer, which is designed to kill low health champions. So it's really bad into Sion. And people will go, oh, but it does true damage. How could it be bad into tanks? The way the numbers work, it does more damage to typically lower health targets. So a high health target like Sion is just not really going to do a ton. And while, yeah, it's great for laning, when we hit that team fight, when the Sion and the Jarvan is on top of you, you're going to be lacking some DPS into them.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing to call out here, JB not on the rise this time. There's just a bit of mobility lack on the team. Right? That's what got them really ahead last game, was just out
the realm
moving
orbs.
Broad here. But this time they don't have it, and if anything, Broad have that advantage through how much they can move the Sion around the map with their own ultimate. As we did see a bit of a
we're not taking grubs.
Before. Yeah, I think grubs were already picked up, if I'm not mistaken. So,
But they're still alive on the map.
Okay.
So I don't think they have been picked up. Unless that's Rift Herald being sneaky, and I can't read the graphic properly. But we are seeing Leanne base, has picked up the Sheen. Haven't seen a Cyclone out of him yet. He has been playing a bit reactive to Tweak, kind of waiting for Tweak to pull the trigger, and then he jumps in as a counter engage, as we're seeing right here.
Here we go. Tweak is there to catch Leanne off, as they do use that right there, but they're stuck in the Cataclysm. Does keep away the Nico as they're trying to trade them back, but Tweak will fall first. We do see Beartree moving in here first, and right now Kenny is the one stuck in a bad spot. Sin is going to take them down as Akkers actually gets that kill. But look at this. Now Beartree forced to TP back to this mid lane here, as JB did get a bit of gold through plates here, trading back nicely. But overall, Broad looked like they had the advantage on that fight, but their jungler did fall.
Yeah, and that's just a lack of synergy between champions, right? Jarvan Cataclysm building a wall and completely blocking Akkers from getting that Pop Blossom. Akkers could have committed the flash, chose not to. I don't think that's the worst decision in the world, to be honest, as you did have the mill there, so he was pretty confident he could at least trade 1 for 1. And thank God Beartree was able to roam, right? Otherwise, that fight could have gone sideways very, very quickly.
Yeah, just having that extra damage and pressure from Beartree there did enable Broad to just not get as punished as they might have would be. But Lian getting that kill has the Triforce now, which is just an immense power spike to this champion. We do see Tweak they pick up their Sundered Sky, so both junglers have their first items. We'll have to see which one just phases stronger in these fights, as Dragon has been started and they're looking for it to get it, and that will likely go over to the Bandits, putting this Dragon at 1-1.
Dragging us to 1-1, this also should help with the gold deficit they're currently in, bolstering that. As item-wise, Luden's Echo is picked up by JB, slightly ahead of gold compared to Beartree because of just the plates, and Beartree's been roaming quite a lot. So the extra minion or two has been going over to JB. Here is Sin, able to get a kill down in the bot lane there. Tweak just showing his presence. No big resource is expended on the side of Rod as well. So Gabby just out of position a bit. I think that was just a Nico route into Flagger drag.
We have seen Akers, they have been using that stealth on the minions a few times. And it's the kind of thing that you forget about, right? You don't really realize, okay, I'm going to have to count minions unless it catches you out once or twice. And then by that second death, you start really looking into it. So
well,
that
you know,
could be something that happens now.
On Cannon Waves, they removed a minion right at the start of this season. And a lot of people haven't gotten used to that. See, it's spawned in now, but and most Cannon Waves in the game come like right. They're missing minions. Right. I'm not going crazy here. As Gabby is getting jumped on again, but it does open up an extra opportunity for the Nico to masquerade herself in the wave.
And Tweak doing an expert play, what we saw last game too, is just punishing this Ashe, getting rid of their flash once, and you just need to punish that over and over again, especially as a Jarvan, right? You just press R on this Ashe, and if you don't kill them inside of it, you're doing something wrong. And right there, we're seeing it as another kill goes over to Sin. They get the tower as well, which could even mean that they could rotate this bot lane somewhere else, get more pressure, more gold elsewhere, and just really accelerate this Jinx here, having completed their Yuntals right there, and we'll be stacking up that crit and definitely working towards that IE.
Oh yeah, that IE is on the horizon, only needing about 1800 gold to complete that one off. Tweak here is going to get spawned in his own jungle, but even though he has the Triforce, Lian still not going to be able to one-tap this Jarvan. I'm a little surprised Beartree has gone for this Luden's Echo on the Mel. Normally we see Blackfire Torch, especially into 3 melee champs. I'm surprised we don't see the Blackfire Torch, but feels he needs it for laning, I guess, into this high damage Victor.
One thing I like here is Loopy's first item, right? We were talking before about if they would go for more team fight and just team style items, but no, they've gone straight for the wave clear, straight for the 1v1 lane pressure, and they're really looking to be a menace in this side lane as the game goes on. So I like seeing that confidence going from game 1 to 2.
Stolen.
Playing 2 different styles. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and Shen players kind of have to make this decision because Sunfire Cape kind of sucks. Of do I go Titanic to wave clear, or do I just permanently suffer into this Scion? Loopy deciding I don't want to permanently get shoved in by a Scion, so feeling that he has to default to that item as the arrow is going to go wide from Gabby.
Sin just sidestepping that so nicely, but the pings are coming out as I believe we're going to fight happening everywhere. Sin and Gabby trading 1v1, the barrier not enough to keep them alive. Meanwhile on the bot side, we do see Lian using that Cyclone to take down Akers. Tweak is forced to flag in Drago's way, but Sin has shown up on the side, has a lot of damage as Beartree manages to pick up one for themselves. Loopy trading flash for flash with the Nikki as they manage to get back to their tower. Oh, Loopy, they want to dive this, they want to chase for more. They probably have the taunt, but they don't have the range to catch up. And that ends the cycle of events. But wow,
Tweak's
Sin getting another tier. Tweak's now here, looking for more, has the home guard. Loopy in a bad spot right there. Definitely don't want to be between these 2 towers. And that will be a very dead Shen.
Yeah, Loopy, way too aggressive right there. With the boots 1, I don't think you're ever going to catch a Nikki from that distance. So just some positioning mistakes of not knowing that Tweak was basing. Probably should have known after seeing that fight in the top side. But Sin, coming out great in that 1v1. This Mel is now also on the board. I'm pretty sure those new buffs to her ultimate as well, helping take out Kenny. Because I thought that Rel was quite high HP. I did not think that amount of stacks was going to take it down, but no, absolutely just popped her.
Yeah, exactly. Just having enough damage there. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's that extra just burst coming out from the Ludens, waiting for that to come off the timer to just give it a bit more. But Broad looking a lot stronger this game now, as they do have even more of a gold lead, right? Where it's 16 minutes in, they do have about 3k. The Dragon is now on the map, an Ocean Soul this time, which will just be, I mean, if you think about it, if Aniki manages to get an Ocean Soul on this Scion, they will have all the region they could ever want, as now 5 members strong, moving down to this Dragon. We already see bandits moving to elsewhere on the map, trying to trade these objectives and just match an objective for an objective.
Yep, actually a fine trade here. Aniki actually going to blow the teleport to try and catch that wave at tower. And now
That's
moving
okay,
over to get vision, just so he's not dove. Makes a lot of sense. That's in there. Bold ultimate choice, but you know what? I feel like when you're a Jinx player, you have to go, I believe I can steal it. Because those 1 in 50 times you do actually steal it and feel like a god. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tweak looks to engage onto JB there, but they are very, very deep in the opposing jungle.
Beartree's alone.
As now Beartree, completely alone, is going to fall. As that was a bit of an overextend there from Broad. I don't know what they were thinking there. Trying to just catch out JB. Yes, they got the kill, but they just didn't expect the rest from Bandits to just be there on that rotation. So giving over 2 kills, not the best move.
Maybe they assumed Lian was just going to be clearing topside after taking that Herald. I imagine with the comms there. But now with 2 dead on the side of Broad, this Herald is popped. It's going to be able to take out this bot lane tower. Even more gold going over to Lian.
Yeah.
And is this spelling a comeback, or is this just a Broad patented bad fight that I feel like they do every game?
I mean, the mistake was just there to just be in a position you didn't need to be, and the gold there does kind of just help Bandits slowly climb back, but there's still more behind here. And what I'm seeing as the issue is that Broad are able to just slowly stack up these dragons right now and just get more and more stats. The next one will be in 3 minutes, and what Broad needs to do here is just take it a bit slow, farm up some waves, get even more gold, keep that lead, and then force Bandits into a situation where they engage onto you. Play the reactive team fights, or maybe even try and set up some kind of trap. We've already seen the movement from Broad so much better this game, outpacing and just dodging out these skill shots. So if that's something that Broad can do here, they're just going to be in a very good spot. But hey, we still have 3 minutes left, so anything can happen, right?
Sin is huge right now. Oh, really nice zap onto Gabby. Gabby, not getting hit by the Tangle Bobs. I was very worried there as the arrow does come out.
Sin does get knocked down to the arrow, but Akers has been zoning off the rest of Bandits as here's the fight coming out.
And he said,
force the flash and the reset for Sin there as they get excited. They won't be able to get for more as the arrow does not know the arrow. The rocket goes into the middle, but that's a kill over right as I say.
Oh, Gabby's placing on the board. Oh. Very worried right there.
But meanwhile, another 4v4 and on the side, we're seeing the Aniki Loopy combo fighting it out, but this Shen with this Titanic does have the trading needed to try and fight it out. Aniki using their own ultimate to just deny more chase from Loopy. But these tank fights in this side lane, they're slowly adding up. I mean, Loopy is always close on it.
Loopy he should be ahead because, especially if he gets the draw through with his Spirit Blade, does a ton of percentage max HP damage. So he should destroy the Scion in a 1v1. But unfortunately, Scion is a kind of champion where you take a bad trade and you go, oh, I don't really care. Because my Q still one-shots waves. So trying to really remove him from the lane is very difficult. Beartree getting just slaughtered here
Caught
by
out
Lian
and
with the
blown
submarine combo you were talking about earlier.
That's a lot to use, though, to catch out Bear Tree here, and the Bandits need to get something out of it, right? You've used 2 ultimates right there, and Baron is just about on the map here, so is that something they can do? Instead, they're just going to have to hold this mid lane. I like the pick, and it kind of...
I think they can force it.
They need to do something here, I feel.
Yeah, but you know what? Now Bear Tree's up in 10 seconds, and he has teleport. So Bandits, they got the pick, they invested the resource, but they come off losing mid pressure. I think they lose this mid tower.
Yeah.
And they're kind of scratching their heads about what were we meant to do and why didn't we do it?
Exactly that. I think like you get this pick off, you use it. I mean, fair, you know, if you do that now or something, you can set up for Dragon, but instead... I don't even think the Shen Ultimate Stand United will be available for this Dragon now. So
no,
that's just one cooldown, just off cooldown right there. An essential one for these team fights. Loopy now going to have to be forced to use the TP to try and move around the map if they want to split on the other side and then join their team later, which Aniki can not only deny, but also join with their own TP. So it's a bit of a rough situation for the Bandits, but hey, a kill is still good, right? You get a bit more gold there. You have some kind of just mental happiness there of just knowing you were able to get a pick on the side lane, so they can try to use that. They brought the gold lead down from 3 to 2, so they're catching up bit by bit. But this next Dragon fight is going to be scary, as we already see both top laners.
Oh, teleports coming in. Aniki just walking in. I didn't know if he wanted to play from distance and get max value off of that unstoppable onslaught. So Lian is in the pit, clearing out vision. Akers currently just facing down the team, not looking for a flank unless he wants to go around this banana wall, but Gabby will spot him out.
Oh, as the combo over, Sin did get pushed in the mid lane there, as we may try to see a Dragon flip there. Lian dropping to half
Lian's
health,
low!
is getting chunked out bit by bit. Meanwhile, on the other side, they do get the Dragon. Akers goes for a flank populus and doesn't connect on anyone. His Tweak is taking down Kenny. Sin, unstoppable, getting a kill. The Dragon was secured, but at what cost? They do take down the AD carry. Loopy getting that shutdown, but the rest of Broad and Friends here is tearing this Bandits team apart, taking down everyone and getting the ace.
Messy fights from both teams, completely split across walls around this Dragon pit. Sin was able to get that first takedown and then just go crazy with it. Really nice shadow dash from Loopy, meaning he can pump out the damage with that Titanic Hydra to take down the Jinx before he gets any more kills.
Yeah.
Bear Tree was still alive, and Bear Tree still had the Golden Eclipse to burst down the remaining bandits.
Definitely that, and Sin just looking so strong at this moment, right? How much gold do they have on top of the Ash? About 4,000 more gold. That's an item and a bit left over. As, yeah, we see that here. 3 items there, nearly at the 100% crit mark right there. As Gavi is just lacking these items, but the arrows are still essential. That CC is good. It is great if you can lock it down and kind of use that burst, but both teams there hesitant to start it off, and it did mean that Broad was able to come out on top. They did lose the Dragon, so Bandits have bought themselves some time, but Baron on the map, and with the amount of pressure Broad can have, it does look like it's their next objective to take.
There's very little vision available on the map for Bandits right now. They've got that one ward that Lian is glancing over right now to try and loop round, but as Broad have complete control of Baron Pit, they can just retreat into there.
Yeah.
And the more waves Aniki is just allowed to free farm, the more health he gets from his Soul Furnace passive, don't forget. So right now he's got about 1,000 bonus HP. Mm-hmm. And Gabby isn't in the position to melt him down. JB decided to go for that second item Zhonya's instead of Liandry's.
Yeah.
So also won't be able to take out this Scion.
Exactly, but the Bandits, they are still holding strong, I think, and using these dragons to their advantage to just buy themselves more time is what they need. They just need to itemize for something, or in a potential world, try to ignore Aniki and just get down this backline. I mean, Lian has 4-1, is looking great in these fights, and has shown that they can burst someone through. So I really do think that this is just coming through how you can enable this Wukong. And what we saw before, right? The Wukong Shen working together is what you need They didn't have it on that fight, but now it's up. It's when they need to look for Do. As
Whoa,
here we go,
Tweak going
Leanne
in.
behind. Tweak has gone for the engage, but Leanne goes in first, looking to flash onto Sin, but Sin is not able to get
Leanne's
there.
down.
And now here comes Akers with the flash pop lesson. Sin hitting everyone, gets the double kill, gets the
Victor
triple
ult.
kill, is looking for more, but look at this ultimate. It's huge, it's big from JB. The damage is everywhere, but it's not enough as JB is looking to get kills and it's traded. What a fight, as I'm lost. Wow.
Yeah, so Tweak just pulls the trigger and says, I'm going to lock down this Ashe. And it's a really good takeout as JB is able to escape.
Yeah.
But Sin is untouched by the Wukong Cyclone in that entire fight. So he's able to take out the jungler really easily. And then thank God for canonically accurate Victor right there. The Arcane Storm doing so much damage in this team fight, getting bigger and bigger with the full upgrades to the Victor passive. Means he's resetting the timer on it, and he's pumping out so much extra DPS.
And that fight is just so huge for the Bandits to win, right? Just knowing that, hey, we can go even in the situation, even when we're on the defensive foot, when Tweak engages onto us, is just huge. Right now, we still see this third item about to come in for JB. JB doing so much damage there, and it almost felt that Broad was just playing too much to try and get that Penta over or something, because
I didn't
that
mind
fight
it.
looked so won, but it just didn't work out for them. And right now, we do see the Seeker's Arm Guard picked up from Mel, a bit more defensive items.
Ooh.
But the next
And
thing we
he
need to
caught
see from the
out.
Bandits. Yeah, I mean, they're tanky,
It's a
but they're
Wukong.
not three men's tankers long. Yes, exactly. The Wukong does have the damage, and they do actually flash here. We do see pings from the rest of Broad here, looking to get something set up elsewhere as they do chase
Ooh,
down
Gabby's
Gabby.
getting four-tapped.
And now the Bandits are in a bad situation as they're spending forever amounts of time not only now taking down a Nikki, but they need to reset, and it's an undead Scion just delaying that reset even more, and Broad is getting more.
And it's not like the Scion had a bounty on him that you would try and say, well, it's fine, we guaranteed this, Broad were going to push us in anyway. That was just, 400 gold spread among the three of you.
Yeah.
And now Broad taking down two towers. One of them is an inhib tower, and they've got positioning on Drake. Leanne, can you steal this again? You did it last game.
The clone already used here by Wukong. They are forced to retreat out of that. The smite does secure it. As I like the idea to pick someone off on the side, but it's just the wrong side of the map you want to be on with the dragon spawning.
Yeah,
And that does
yeah.
let Broad get that third dragon one more closer to that soul point. Well, not a soul point, soul even. And looking at Sin's item now, they have the Hex Drinker there. That is so much respect for the amount of magic damage that JB is putting out in these fights.
I mean, it makes a ton of sense as well, right? You've hit your 100% crit.
Yeah.
So right now, you either think, I can go Bloodthirster, which I'm a while off of completing, and Vamp Scepter's not that great as a component.
Yeah.
Or I can go Hex Drinker, because the only real threat to me right now is the Victor. So it's a really nice heads-up play. Or heads-up building. Anyway. Arrow
Here
coming
comes the
out.
Arrow does connect onto Sin. Leanne is there, and that's a big amount of burst. They do take down Sin, and they're looking for more. TP coming on from Scion here, joining the fight. But that is the 80 carry from Broad and Friends taken down, and Bandits.
Ooh,
they're
big
gonna
damage
have
on
to look to
Akers.
trade for something.
The Arcane Storm popped, forcing Akers to base here. But Bandits are going to start up the Baron with Sin dead for 27 more seconds.
Yeah. The rest of Barrett and Friends have joined this area. They're going to look to try and get into this. Tweak will have to do something here as a steal, but
turning.
JB on the side. They're just going to take the fight instead as Bandits take down this mid laner. Bear Tree falling here as now they're training onto Nikki here. Meanwhile, Gabby's
Shadow
moved
Dash.
back to the Baron to make sure that doesn't reset, and these three members from Bandits is all it's going to take to stop the rest of Broad and Friends from getting into this pit. They are just
Rocket
buying
coming.
time. The rocket coming in won't be enough. Does connect. Meanwhile, Loopy does taunt up the turn. Akers getting the double pop loss in there. Even more important, connecting on to JB.
Sin's
Sins
gonna reset.
has now respawn. Is in the fight. Has the reset. Is looking to chase it down. JB does get stunned. Trades one for one.
gonna
Gets
die.
the burst before going golden. As that is a kill. But the Baron was secured.
It's Baron secure, but it's going to be in him for Broad. Sin is huge right now. You shouldn't be able to get any more. And
They do have this bot lane.
Bandits.
They do have this bot lane, and we do see TPing in the top lane, so they are really going to try and punish this Baron take.
But the TP top lane just means Aniki is going to be caught out. He is tanky enough. The arrow does get sidestepped from Sin.
Lian gets on top of Sin again. Sin flashes his time, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. He's dead. They take down Sin for the second fight in the road.
Tweak's
now
down.
turning onto Tweak. This tanky Scion will be ignored, but the flash was used, but it's just not enough. Yes, Bear Tree gets some plates, but this is huge moment for the side of Bandits now. They have the Baron. They need to use this pressure. It's oh.
And Brod's getting absolutely punished for the greed of Bear Tree going top lane with his teleport to get some plate gold. Will they be able to pick up any structures? I don't think so. This Baron will be up for another minute or so,
Yeah.
but it's halfway through its usage time. The inhib being taken will mean that Brod will have constant mid pressure though. So how can they convert this? And more importantly, how are they going to stop Sin from getting one tapped in every fight now that his flash is down? He's now going for the Vamp Scepter, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's going to sit on
both
Hex Drinker and go Bloodthirster.
No, but just sitting on these components is going to be awkward for a minute. It just means that this AD carry champion just won't scale any stronger until they get gold to complete either of those, which is so much. But Dragon is up in a minute, and the inhibitor will give them that mid lane push. Not usually the most essential one because you'll be in that area to push it anyways, but does give you one less thing to worry about. And it's a matter of if they can get another level or any kind of item over to Sin. They do see a face checking from Lian. They will be forced to dash away. The meld damage coming in, the comet, the burn, the tick. It's enough to take down this jungler. And he will be dead for 50 seconds. We're now seeing Aniki dashing towards, trying to get onto Gabby. Gabby flashed away, but the Cataclysm is enough to lock them down. And the Loopy ultimate is there to keep them alive. The rest of Brod and friends need to get into this fight. Tweak gets taken down by JB. Sin zoned off by this Victor in the moment, as now Bear Tree's here.
Coming.
But both junglers are dead. Aniki incredibly tanky, but they're just surviving for so long. Gabby is now going to trade onto the side, try to get some damage onto Akers. They do not kill the Scion yet, but the pop blossom onto 2 does set up Gabby, but the shielding is so insane. Loopy gets that kill, and the Bandits are moving to the Dragon.
Tweak dead for 22 seconds, so it should be a free Dragon, but the super minions are in the base. Thank you, observers. Lian is up in 3 seconds, so should be able to clear them out, but both teams do not have a jungler available. No jungler available, and the Bandits start the Dragon anyway. They say, we don't care. Loopy even committing teleport here. Going to arrive just to see this Dragon die. The rockets come in, going to get blocked. Really nice awareness from Kenny and Loopy there, as each team now on 3 dragons apiece. And I think this game is the epitome of 1-1.
I mean, you said it before, messy. Both sides of this game just having messy games and just making these mistakes, as again we see the Bandits punish Bear Tree for being on the split push instead of with the team. And it's more on the other side of Rod wanting to fight, but not being able to because they're not fully grouped. We really haven't seen a full 5v5 in a long time, and that's what we need. But looking at JB here, they've managed to slowly climb up to 8 stacks of Dark Seals, which just shows how long they've gone dealing damage without dying here, having 4 items completed, and will eventually just sell that Dark Seal for something else, giving them so much damage. Meanwhile, Gabby still behind in gold compared to this Jinx, but is just going to have a moment to catch up here.
Also did get that 1k shutdown earlier off Sin, which was massive for the comeback. Yes, he's down 6k gold, but as you're approaching final items, doesn't matter as much because your victory is huge, right? Yeah. I know AD carries can now live the 6-item dream, and that's huge for Sin because he can go 2 defensive items now. Yeah, he's got the completed Bloodthirster. But frankly, JB and Lian teaming up can kill Sin incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Lian has scaled so nicely into this end game. Usually you see Wukong struggle to be the one who has to engage into these fights, but it's working out ever so slightly just because of this loopy Shen giving so much shielding and health towards this Wukong, just allowing them to be tanky enough. One thing to call out, though, is that Sin's flash is just about to come back up, and that was the kind of thing we were seeing throughout this mid-game of just not using it correctly. Now that they have it up, it's going to be incredibly important to use it to keep themselves at distance and away from just how much damage this Bandits roster can throw out.
And picking up on that, Gabby won't have flash for another, I don't know, 40 seconds. So if Anarchy can find the angle and just lock this Ashe down, Gabby is dead to rights. You're not getting away from a Scion right now, who has in fact just finished his Protoplasm too. So he's even tankier with all that bonus healing coming in.
And now we're seeing this almost mid lane stalemate right now as both teams are trying to get pressure on this wave, look for some kind of angle, look for a mistake from someone. But the Bandits are there first. They do get the tower, and Tweak has dashed in. They're taking so much damage. They do get the Cataclysm on the Gabby, but no one from Broad is there to follow them up. Tweak is dead. We do see above, the Lian is getting some kind of damage. The arrow connecting from the side. The taunt as well onto Sin. As Sin gets blown up, the Bandits pick up 2 kills. They are split between this tower and the Baron, but a huge play from the Bandits here, punishing Broad and friends.
The Arcane Storm now chasing down Bear Tree, and the Arcane Ray gonna take him out. We're seeing a Baron and an Inhib Tower getting taken at the same time right now. As sure, Akis is gonna ult. Does he have the damage? That's a massive Shen shield.
He clears the wave barely, but you know what? It's not enough. They
alive.
cleared the wave, but they're all dead.
Cannon's
the
alive,
rest of the team is taking Baron. It's only a wait, is Wukong taking it on his own?
Wukong's soloing Baron right now.
Wukong is solo Baron.
He's got endless hunger. He's fine.
But this is the game. Only Tweak is now left alive. He needs to desperately try and clear this wave, but it won't be enough as the Bandits show that they will not go down without the fight. They kill this Nexus. They get the Baron. They get the game. They put Broad and Friends on 1-1, and what a game to come back from. Amazingly played from the Bandits. Wow.
I mean, Lian needs to take a bow after that one, to be honest, because he really brought this team back from the brink. JB was pulling the damage, but Lian was starting those fights really nicely.
Yeah.
And just kind of an over force from this Jarvan, right? Like we saw in that final fight, sure, JB stepped up to tower, but was backing off. And then we just saw a one-man Cataclysm into death. And that was kind of all she wrote for the side of Broad and friends.
It just seemed they weren't in sync, right? You saw Tweak constantly trying to go for fights, and they would get onto the AD carry. But the rest of Broad and friends wasn't there to get the damage to kind of finish that lockdown. And that's what kind of caused the problems there as this game scaled on. And with that, all of our 2-0s, everybody that said 2-0 tonight is wrong, myself included.
The witchcraft worked.
The witchcraft worked.
The witchcraft worked. There are hexes in the world, and they do work.
Nick and Rob both using whatever kind of voodoo magic to speak that 1-1 into existence as a... Well, I'm sure the desk will have all sorts of points to break down for this game, and that'll be it from myself. Rory, it's been a pleasure casting with you this game, and I will let the desk close out the rest of the breakdown.
So Rob, remember when I said that us casters, we have the most vile curses in our repertoire?
What demonic power do you have, Nick? You predict... you know what? You predicted the 2-0. That's what demonic power you have. I did this. I did this to them.
Yep. If you would have predicted 1-1 as well, this wouldn't have happened. It would have been a 2-0.
It can't keep happening. It can't keep happening. Sin killed everyone for like 20 minutes of the game, and then he dies on mid lane. It can't.
With flash.
It can't.
Nick, do you want to tell everyone what I said? What I said 30 seconds
Yeah.
before.
Okay, so imagine, right? The situation is this: Jinx is up 4-0, has like 30 CS up on the enemy AD carry. I say, well, this is unlosable because you have a front line. Jinx just gets a free hit, everyone GG. You know what Brackish Brit said? He said, just wait until Sin steps to the mid lane and gets hit with flash up.
I did this to them. I'm gonna have to live with that.
I don't.
Well-
no, you two heard me in the green room. How upset I was in that entire game. I was having a mental
I'm right there
breakdown.
with
Thank
you, Rob.
Brod. Thank you, Brod. I will be charging you the fees I have to pay my therapist for what I've just witnessed on my screen.
Okay, let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good, because this is probably the closest thing to good macro I saw all game.
Yeah, so it was the Bandits throwing everything onto a Sion. I think that is a big mistake, but then the cross-map play happened, right? They saw that, okay, Sion can probably waste a lot of time for them while we just get 2 towers in a row. That is massive for Broad
And the Drake.
And the Drake as well, yeah.
So they win the game, right?
Yeah.
So this is great macro, right? They win the game here,
Yeah.
right, Nick? Because they've just shown like a great
Stop the
example of
count.
macro.
Stop the count.
Look at the score. Like they win, right? So they got a 2-0, nice and clean. We've got some more replays. That's
We've got another one.
Does that happen?
Apparently, time does not permit. So we got one more at least. We won't put Sin on blast on the live stream.
yeah.
Although to be fair, actually,
Off
to
the
be
stream,
thinking
though.
about it, the other replay's not much better for him either.
I mean, it's...
Yeah.
This one's fine, right, Rob?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Kind
I'm
of.
trying to find words for what I've just witnessed for the past 30 minutes of my
We
life.
can let
that
it
I'm
run,
not getting
honestly.
back.
We can let it
Let's
run
just
and just
let
let
this run.
everyone.
Like, we're still in a point here where Broad are like in a winning position for the game, right? We still see a very fair Jinx with, like, even though they've been struggling and this is like, the final fight, they still should be looking here. Tweak goes in really deep, no follow up. So Aniki,
So
look what
JB's
Akaz is.
I think JB made a massive play here, though, like putting the stun field in the Cataclysm. I think that just won the fight right there. And then
Then
for
walks
some
into
reason,
the
Sin
arrow,
gets
by
hit by
the
the
way.
arrow.
He has flash. Sorry, it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of issues when you see Broad in these situations. I think that you see Tweet going in there. Akaz is nowhere to be seen. He's too busy, playing around the river, that kind of side of the map. You then see them not knowing what to do once Tweak does fall down. It all kind of goes to pot. It seems to be Broad. It's not, we joke about the 1-1 curse, but there seems to be something here where consistency is really difficult for them. They're not able to turn it on when it really matters. I think they're in everyone, I think anyone in chat, everyone who watched this game said they were in a winning position this game.
Yeah,
They needed to close this game out. This was the time to 2-0.
I
Real
mean,
questions on why, how did it break down? Was it better getting caught a couple of times? I don't think so. I just think it just ended up being that they just seem to just lose their way a couple times in a couple moments. Again, we joke about Sin on mid, but how is he allowed to be jumped on by a Wukong? Where's his team? He was flanked from a side by a Wukong. Flash or not, that's got to draw questions as well about the teamwork coming out for the Broad boys.
Yeah, I think that there might be... It's one issue or the other. Maybe it's just like a team comp that doesn't really fit their play style. Maybe that is the reason why they don't position into a traditional back and forth. Front to back. That they just want to like go in, but you then have to draft a team fight comp.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can pontificate forever about what happened in that game. I think Bandits are also going to have some question marks because the first game was going pretty well for them, and then Broad found a way to take it. So both teams got plenty to take away from this one. Of course, I don't know if the 1-1 means Broad going to struggle now top 4.
It does. It not top 4. We're talking top 6, buddy.
Oh,
If Nuclear Vikings beat Rise 2-0, Nuclear Vikings look really good. Nuclear Vikings are at 7. Broad are currently at 7.
Yep.
Nuclear Vikings still have to face Broad. So we're not discussing about Broad top 4 anymore. I'm sorry. We're now discussing, are they 7th or 8th, possibly, as a discussion point after this game. And that game is coming up, I think, towards the end of the split. Obviously, Nuclear Vikings, Broad. Broad we had in the discussion as a top 2 team. Like, it's consistency. They're looking at playoffs. But they're looking at a lower bracket playoffs run. They have no more time to make mistakes when that happens.
no more mistakes when they get around to it. We do have another series coming up this evening. It won't be us covering it, of course, but we'll be back in a little bit for Rise Gaming versus Inari. Don't go anywhere. Another series coming right up.
Oh, Malphite. All right, here we go. Just
Still going for this space. You would have. Chimera super low.
But there's the Rakan coming in for the shielding. The shielding again. Oh my God!
And everyone bow down to Venom Crest. Two-time champions. Bow down to Jake.
Good evening, everyone. I am looking at the wrong screen, so I thought I had another 5 seconds. How are you all? Well, I hope, on this spring evening, we are very well. So we have an extra series tonight. We do have Rise versus Inari. Trajan, we have a little bit of a behind-the-scenes scoop from Inari's coach. We've got some impressions.
Yes, Inari has been something of an enigma so far for this split. We're not as familiar with some of the players. We don't know these names as well as we know even the names of their opponents in Rise generally across the board. So it was interesting to get a little bit of detail from the head coach Joe. And it was quite humble, I'll be honest. Definitely has his thoughts on the weaknesses of his opponents in Rise tonight, but was openly happy to admit that Rise was kind of gapping them in scrims a bit. Like, is ready to say, yes, you know, we're a 7-3 team that hasn't had the easiest of schedule by all means. They still have to play, you know, Rise today, Verdant Academy. They still have some favored matchups to go, but they're not necessarily coming in like, now we're the GOATs, we promoted from Div 2 and we're about to smash Div 1. That's still the goal, but he's coming at this, I think, from a position of realism while keeping an understanding that his team has quite unique identity that I think they're able to leverage pretty well.
I'm glad he can keep the position of realism. That's getting harder every day, let's be real. Gizmo, you've got like a bit more insight on sort of the definite matchup between these two to carry on that thread of realism.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard also behind the scenes that they have, like, Rise themselves have been doing quite well in their scrims, so it's just about converting, you know, scrims to match day, which they seem to have struggled with. I think for me, for Rise, I sort of want to see this bot lane sort of perform on the same page. We know Jamsu's long history player, quite, you know, sporadic with his gameplay, let's say, especially some of those
intense in high peaks and unfortunately the troughs between.
And I feel like DDD is a bit more reserved of a player. So you got like the fire and the ice. You put them together, you get Jon Snow. I'm hoping that we can see that come through in this game, sort of pop off a little bit.
Bro dies in that series. I don't know. I guess he comes back to life.
Comes back.
Is that the 1-1 scoreline that they maybe get this evening?
This is Jon Snow dead. They're 3 and X, and he's about to resurrect, and they're gonna go X and 7 now.
They might not make playoffs, right? This is the time to resurrect and come back. You know, bring it back.
We need it now.
Yeah, we need it, right?
And they've got the games in hand. They're at the bottom of the table. Verdant and Nuclear Vikings sort of in the sight line. Are they going to make it?
Yeah.
I think they can, right? It takes a lot. It takes a lot of other teams like causing out issues. Obviously, the head-to-head against Verdant is not in their favor. So they need to sort of step it up a bit. They need to beat Nuclear Vikings as well. But I can see that happening, right? You know, you have that duality to that bot lane. I feel like if you get Ketsu on a good day, things go well as well. You know, he's that sort of player. I can see that coming through. I can see the cards coming together. It's just on stage is whether or not that happens. And yeah, I feel like, you know, if we see an Engage that they played very good in like with Engage or Disengage bot lanes, especially Jamsu on the Renata, picking that out as like a big counter that they played against Broad, worked really well into the low Engage. I feel like they have that spicing draft that could give them the edge at points. It's just enabling that fully and getting that right.
Well,
Trajan, when it comes to getting it done on the day, it comes to brass tacks, scrims in the past, is there anything special you want to see Rise do or that you know from CBLOL or recent history?
So what I'd quite like to see from Rise, and I think that they, similar to Nuclear Vikings, who have now started to, they got that first series win, first game win last week, they have started to push through the hump. I think Rise felt similarly like a team that is almost there in so many ways. They have clear ways to get advantages and win, and low-key, I think that the top lane or the top side is where it's going to potentially happen today. I think Demo has shown us plenty of highlights. They've not managed to make game wins out of them, but same players like Shush, who was doing the same on Nuclear Vikings, putting up big lanes, big performances that they just couldn't turn into wins until they managed to sort the rest of the map out. If, as Gizmo says, if we see DD and Jamsu, the time they've been putting in, stabilize the bot lane, let Jamsu out onto the map from a position of strength to set up some plays, I think that Demo is potentially going to be that secondary carry they need. I'll be honest, I'm not really on board with banking on Ketsuo carrying games anymore. I think we have seen, I think he's had a lot of opportunities to do so this series, this split, and he's missed quite a lot of them. I think we need to look to topside. DD, if he can get out on a comfortable spot, he can be a very reliable guy. But I think Demo is low-key another one of our very strong top laners that we have quite a lot of all of a sudden. This split.
I'm not complaining.
I think Demo's next in line.
UK and
I
Irish
think Demo's
top
next in
laners.
line.
It's where it's at.
opportunity.
So I'm hearing share the responsibility, share the load, and give Ketsuo some more comfortable time is sort of the secret there.
Give him a mage. Just give him a mage and a lane to farm. Let's not. We don't need the Silas anymore.
Just chill. Just chill is the
No.
answer. Gizmo,
Just chill
I
out,
think, if I remember rightly, and I might not be remembering rightly, so do cut me off. Can't remember if you played in a certain Scottish esports tournament, and potentially our second division last year as well. Is that, am I on the right lines?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that is.
So,
storied player,
as we get
Gizmo.
into draft, last sort of thing from you guys. What's the secret to momentum? Because Inari are coming in the different way to Rise. They've done Div 2. They've done it all. They're eating this Nidalee ban. But how do they keep it together?
I mean, see, for me, momentum is all about fresh mental state, right? Coming into games, you got to have that jokes in the champ select going in. You know, that gets you going, right? I think, you know, a lot of these players, especially on Rise's side, they are vibes-based players, right? You know, if they're having a good time, they're popping off. If they're not, it shows in their gameplay, right? So it's about building that into that environment. Obviously, you know, like you can say about how they pre-prep for the games, everything else, but I feel like keeping like if they're able to take the first game here, I feel like they can definitely take a second one as Rise. I feel like that's very much their like sort of playstyle. They're very easy to keep that momentum going.
All right, so it's about the snowball, it's about the vibes, it's about the good feelings. I think banning 2 point-and-click junglers against Rise is...
Did you not just slam Orianna here?
I
know you've been waiting for Orianna. You've been asking questions of people why they're not taking Orianna, and if we want Ketsuo to just pick a gosh darn mage and farm a lane, like, yeah man, Orianna, I'd love to see it. But we're going for DD Ezreal instead. Now, this is a champion that can unlock Jamsu to affect the map in a big way because he can be very confident. DDD, we've seen him take to this champ before. It's an experienced pick for him. Into Nico and Sakura, who have been they've had some impressive lanes, but I know Gizmo, you're not 100% sold on these guys just yet. It might let DDD kind of breathe a bit, and like I say, if we can just get Jamsu on like. I know you hate Nico, but Nico, Rakan, Rel...
She's the one right now.
She's
the one right now.
I don't know if Jamsu has a bard, but just something that he can roam away. Lane gank for Demo. Get into Ketsuo's lane and get a 3v2 going. Like, just get this guy onto the map to make plays for the team.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, Jamsu, obviously, I was saying about like trying to get that lead through bot lane. Ezreal, very aggressive in early stage, especially if you stack your Q on the wave. Really able to trade aggressive early and then get you that push for your jungler. Very nice, but... Still, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Nico can go quite nicely with it, but I feel like he wants something that can roam a bit easier. Take that aggressive nature to the other lanes and try maybe go top, mid, and get that snowball elsewhere.
Bit hard to roam up against a Nami with the threat of something a bit more proactive behind her, right?
So the Nami first, assuming normally we see it paired with a Lucian or a Corki even more so now as Lucian's kind of fallen out of favor, but seeing the Nami come first, realistically, I don't think we're denying it from Jamsu. I don't think this is much of a Jamsu power pick. So it really feels like it feels like a wait and see pick.
But you do just give over the Xin Orianna. Like I feel like that's the slight blunt. Like obviously you're setting up for like Pantheon jungle, most likely at this point, probably not going top, and then mid laner maybe Talia as a bog standard combo.
It doesn't feel very Inari, that comp. Inari has been a lot more creative in the draft, and I feel like, as you say, if it's about mental and momentum, I think Inari need to play and draft to their strengths, which is what they've been doing so far.
I mean, yeah, normally they pick out an AD mid, so like, you know, maybe it's Pantheon mid, but no, I fully expect it to drop a little bit later. I guess the Inari's the play, that's why they picked up the Nami earlier to enable that. Obviously, it's fine lane state for them, but you know, they're gonna have to ban out a few supports to stop Jamsu maybe opting around the map a little bit more. Obviously, Karma, Seraphina being the big two picks, so I could sort of expect those to be gone. Which, to be honest with me, I prefer Jamsu off of those picks anyway.
Yeah, I think it plays into his hands, right? If you don't want to leave him the Karma open and bait him into picking it again, like instead he's going to take like a Nautilus or a Leona or something that's going to be a lot more Jamsu coded. So I think we're maybe tripping ourselves a little bit here, Inari, but with Rise banning solid top laners, Oku is someone that all of the top laners, he's like the top laner's top laner. Everyone's like, this guy's super solid. This is a legit player. I've not seen enough to say really one way or the other just yet. And like I say, I am feeling pretty good about Demo. I would like Rise to pick something they can try to bully top lane with, especially because you've got a safe bot lane, you have a supportive mid laner. Let's get a carry in the top lane for Demo, and let's let him try and go to town on Oku a bit.
Alright, no Scion, no Dawdling. What's on your mind, Gizmo? Where are we coming?
I mean, I feel like Oku's just going to lock out like a rumble, but I feel like it's a bit of a trap to pick it this early, right? Yeah, I mean, unless you really, because like if they pick it, they can pick AD here, AD mid, and then like hold the rumble for later, but then it gives away the rumbles come in, right? So either you pick the rumble here and then you just give up your counter pick. So I feel like you've got to either counter the Orianna with an Izzy. Makes a lot more sense, you know. But now like they've been scared previously of taking too much AP in their drafts with the rumble. I still feel like if Rise let it go through, it'll go that way, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, thinking towards something a bit proactive, something that pairs up nicely with the Pantheon and the 2v2. Adrian, any picks flashing through your mind right now? We do need that support.
I'm just terrified they're just going to pick Cassante, and I don't want them to, because of them to try and cover off.
He's banned, he's away, he's gone.
Oh, there you go, so true actually. Thank God for that. But we have the Aatrox coming in here, and this is something that you were talking about, Gizmo, about as a tank punisher. Rise has banned away the two kind of favourite tanks on the patch. The three favourite tanks, including Cassante. They've locked in Aatrox, so we have a demo carry. This is what I want for them. Now we need an engager for Jamsu. Let's not get baited into picking him an Enchanter. Okay, like, I mean, Enchanter plus Aatrox isn't bad, but you already have Orianna. I don't think we need another one. I think I'd rather see Jamsu on something that is comfort. This win is very important for Rise. They really need to do it. Now, the Renata that you mentioned before, this is a nice halfway house, I think. It is still kind of an Enchanter. It's got big engage potential, but I don't know, Gizmo, like, with the Ezreal as well, potentially. Like, it's not really a roaming pick necessarily, but what's your thought?
It doesn't need to be a roaming pick.
Is the sort of denial of Inari coming forwards enough? They don't have the all-in that Renata normally responds to.
Yeah, but they don't have the range to make the engage, right? Look at the side of Unite. They haven't got the long engage, right? So therefore, by the time they're able to get that engage, Renata ulti is going to hit all of them. So I think it's a really nice pick here. Obviously, they have the dive as well in their team, but if that dive doesn't go as well as they're hoping, you know, the Renata ulti is that bailout for them. Also, they have bailout, which is also just, you know, a great tool in itself.
Aatrox plus bailout, like, yes.
But also, like, if you think about like Pantheon ulting in and Renekton trying to dive on the backline, if a Renata ulti hits them when they dive, all of a sudden the Pantheon is instantly walking away, wasting his ulti, wasting their main source of engage here. Obviously, you've got the Azir shuffle, but like if you're shuffling into that comp, you're getting one shot. So I feel like I really like the Renata here. It showed a lot of pressure in the broad game. Obviously, the broad game again was short range engage comp, so I feel like it fits really nicely for them.
Alright, is it the meta read of the century, Trajan? You convinced? It sounds like Gizmo's pretty hot on this Rise composition.
Yeah, I think it is good. I think, like I say, the main keys that we kind of, Gizmo wanted, like, you know, Mage for Ketsuo, I wanted a carry for Demo. We've got both of these things. Gizmo's happy with the support pick. I think DDD Ezreal is perfectly solid, and there's literally never the wrong time to pick Xin jungle, it feels right now. Like, just slap this into anything, man, it's all good. So, like, I think the Rise comp is very solid. It does give them a good matchup into what they're dealing with, but now it's about keeping your head. It's about not getting the pressure, letting the pressure get to you. It's about letting yourself actually play to your own strengths, which they do have, and we've seen that they have, and they're due a win. They really, really are. They just need to actually get one, and it's going to make the end of kind of regular season picture way more interesting if they pick up.
We haven't flicked the predictions on screen, so we're going to quickly verbal this. Trajan, even after draft, are you sticking to your prediction?
Yes,
I don't remember what it was, so I'm going to quickly...
I took 2-0 Inari, I'll be honest.
I did as well.
I do think that the comp does slightly favour Rise, but I don't know if Rise is going to walk onto the Rift here and play better than Inari.
Yeah.
Because I think that while Inari is still somewhat enigmatic, I think they have demonstrated competency through, like I say, not too hard, not too easy, not too hard of a schedule with a lot of different comps. This one has a lot more meta picks than we're used to seeing from them, so it's kind of a different flavor. Maybe this will be a little bit rough around the edges for them, but I still kind of have faith in what we've seen from them so far.
We believe it. Gizmo, you're the other way. 1-1s are with the casters. The desk is resolute tonight. You're 2-0 Rise. Like, you feeling better about that now?
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one as well, and I'm happy about that in this game, right? Because I think we got exactly what I wanted from Rise. I know that Inari's draft is very good at shutting down side lanes, right? But if you look at Rise's games, they've gone late. They've always been team fight based. They sometimes get caught on sides, but for the most part, it's always been a team fight that's a deciding factor. Their comp does very well in team fights, very easy to execute. I feel like Inari's isn't. So I feel like the ball's in Rise's court. This is the time for them to step up, and the clock's ticking on them. It's all or nothing, right?
It's now or never.
There is nothing quite like a UKEL team fight. In all of LoL esports, you will only find that source here. And to take you through the action, over to our casters.
Good evening. Welcome to the second half of the show. I'm accompanied by Leo, and we'll be guiding you through the madness of this game. I mean, we've got a little bit of history with the teams all mapped out. I mean, Leo, fill us in.
Yeah, so definitely we've been talking a little bit about just how these two teams they're ready to face off. Trayton already mentioned it on the desk. They have been scrimming multiple times, and apparently, both of those times, Rise is the team that got the better of them. So this is exactly what we want to be seeing now on the Rift, because for Rise, really, every single one of these wins is so important to get if they want to make sure they don't end up in that relegation spot.
It's unfair, really, to have like that SKT feel where like you're winning nothing off screen, and then as soon as the officials start, you just start teeing off. So it is crazy, man. And I mean, with regards to Inari's record so far, 7-3, Rise 3-7. It's like flipped scores. They're chasing a bit. So, big, important game for Rise tonight. They really want this.
Looking overall, the thing is, technically, Rise don't need to win this game. And then, they have another chance facing Nuclear Vikings. But realistically put, every win is so important because, unfortunately, as the desk mentioned, they don't have the head-to-head coming through against Verdict coming in. So we every single one of these points is so important. They need to sort of leapfrog over them in the standings to make sure that they are not in danger, of losing that slot.
And I mean, I think we did have a little chinwag about the draft, and I think, without sort of sounding like a bit of an echo chamber, we did like the Rise draft. We thought the Orianna had options with ball carry, shockwaves, and Inari's comp was a little bit more ambitious. It takes a little bit more to pull off, and I think, like we mentioned as well, Pantheon ult's in, Renata ult is ready. That's pretty much ticket for a suicide. So yeah, it's going to be tough, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the desk already kind of mentioned this, but there is quite some short range on the side of Inari. And the thing is, on the other side, you have those combos that, for example, you mentioned the Renata ult to counteract the Pantheon, but we were also talking about how just you can go in, you can have that team fight, because Xin Zhao is just crazy. Xin Zhao can reposition everywhere. He feels literally like a Lee Sin, but he's just stronger anyway, and then if something goes wrong, he's like, oh no, something happened, I'm gonna press my ult and walk away, and none of you guys halfway across the map can do any damage to me because Xin Zhao is a broken champion.
Wow. Hey, you heard it here first, Dave. Leo says it, it's gonna go. But yeah, I mean, as well, I feel Inari's got that punchy engage when they have to pull it out. And I think Renata's just could be a real nuisance. That last stand giving somebody that second chance. I don't think they've got that follow-through damage, especially, if Xin does get the ultimate off and denies that damage. He may just come back and think, yeah, I'm all good. We lost no one, but we took everything. So it's going to be tough. And I mean, yeah. A lot of plot going into this. Jamsu, DDD, fantastic bot lane. Synergy is there. Renata, big playmaker. Could be a huge game for Rise. They need it today more than any other.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I'm really happy because, as the desk mentioned, we have that playmaker in the top side. We have that Aatrox. And since last series, we already saw a champion that was completely unkillable with that Mundo in the first game. Are we going to get the same thing here with Aatrox, who's just going to heal off everything over and over again? Because even if he does end up going down, you can just suddenly put Renata on him. He's going to get revived again. Riot took away Aatrox's revive, but Renata is going to give it back to him right now.
It's true. Good thing that revive was removed, and it was never given to another champ, right, guys?
No.
Yeah, it's gone forever. Aatrox crying into hen. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think everything's up for grabs, like you said. And I mean, I want to see who wins the mid matchup as well, because I mean that's a bit of a prized 1v1. Getsu versus no one, you know, that's been a tough one so far. Both mids have that potential. Trajan sort of throwing a bit of shade, saying that, you know, Getsu was maybe past his carrying days, but you know, everything to play for. And Orianna, what a pick to really pop off. I mean, everything is in his corner.
Yeah, looking further at the Orianna, we were talking about this a little bit before, how difficult it is in late game team fights just to keep track of where exactly the Orianna vault is, because there's so many special effects going on at the same time. Especially, you know, if you have the Renata, if you have the Ezreal jumping around and everything.
Okay, and as we do squeeze into game, I am interested to see what's going on with this early fight as Rise and Inari have a little scrap to start things off. Here, really aggressive into that Pantheon. Not really a renowned level 1 champ Pantheon, especially on the back foot. Has to overcommit sometimes, I feel, when it comes to his WQs. And it's going to be a little calm period to start the game. Nothing terrifying on the summoner spells. Lethal Temper coming up from Azir. Kind of like the look of that, especially into the Orianna matchup. Does promise a little bit of aggression. I'm excited to see if that can find value. Conk, obviously, into Conk in the jungle. Comet on the Orianna, though, really will help with that early game pressure to really chip away that Azir and scuff things up. We didn't actually get into predictions in the chat, but I'm going to give it to the underdog's Rise. I'm going to give him a 2-0. This could be a little bit crazy for me to say, given the track record. But, you know, scrims speak for themselves. These guys do crack heads behind scenes, as we do see a trade in the top lane. But again, Leo is going to be straight back in just a sec. You will have my beautiful voice in the interim, as the level 2 is traded bot. Jamsu is going to be punished. Fantastic aggression from the side of Inari. Do see the vulnerability there. Slight overstep, and it is going to sting. Double checking across the board. I mean, junglers pathing to bot. We could see an easy fight for the side of Inari if they can really draw that lane into them and just free up that Xin gank. Because with that flashless Renata, it is always a worry, especially in a lane where you've got Nami and Yunara. They've got such good gap close on that bubble as well. But it does look as though they are shoving the wave in, so Jamsu will be pleased with that, as they patiently wait under tower. Ezreal yet to get tier. Sometimes I do see a cheeky tier level 1, but he's holding out. Doran's a pot. Respectable.
Just like that, it seems like the early game it's going all right. There's no crazy action going yet. We've reached level 3 without any death, so that's already, you know, the first good step.
Welcome back. And absolutely not wrong. It's been calm. It's been calm. Flash burned for Jamsu, by the way. That's the only thing that has really stood out so far.
Yeah, but we're completely open and flash. You know, it's just a 5-minute cooldown. It'll be back. You know, we're not worrying about that.
Yeah, I mean, Jamsu is playing a good champion to handle a flashless support. Sometimes you do feel like some AD carries do rely on that support pressure to really bail them out when it comes to an all-in. But he can take care of himself and sort of let him die if need be. So yeah, it's a job well done for the bot lane Ezreal. As we do see some action top, I believe that was a flash from Oku. A little bit of pressure. Calm is back on the rift. Jamsu had a little failed roam as well. Wanted to see what was going on mid-side. Is back down bot. It's a tough lane for aggression, though. I feel like Yunara plays so well into an Ezreal because she's got that movement, she's got that damage output. She can sort of move perpendicular to that Ezreal, make sure those Qs go wide, and it's a real nightmare to deal with. So it's a tricky one for the side of Rise. They really just want to farm this wave out, stack that tier up, and let this game go on. As we do see aggression from the side of Inari. But this is what Jamsu needs. Being flashless, he needs to be pinned under tower, and I'm more than certain that Ezreal will be okay with the CS. EDD, no stranger to being pushed up the tower. These guys are comfortable. And you know what? I feel like Inari could be punishing them more with that flashless Renata if they let that wave spill into their half, really take over. With that Pantheon, he's yet to leave an impression on the rift. And we all know how much Pantheon is an early game ganker with that mid-late fall-off. Sneaking in later on. Mid's having a little handshake. Chunks coming out. Lethal Tempo definitely finding value in that matchup. As we do see our beautiful first Drake spawn in. And we do see a little bit of aggression bot. Hero pathing down. Does have the flank angle. Vision is there for the side of Inari. And they will ping off. Nat says, hold on. I might have a peek. Does look as though there'll be just a little exchange of vision. All is well. Inari re-established that try. Pantheon lurking. No vision from Rise. This is a good little flank. Do they know that Rise are in the dark? They don't go for it. They just think it's wanted. That's such a shame. Could have been a big play for Nat, and he needs this more than ever. Having no KP on Pantheon is a crime. Everybody knows it. We need kills early. As the TP gets cancelled, I think he can. Am I bleeding into the comms for Inari? The gag will go through, and that's a flash on to Jamsu. That is no way out, but first blood goes to Sakura, which is a little bit of a shame, really. I think a little bit of a squiff gank there. So much value to be had there, especially if the Yunara had that. Instantly seeing counter aggression coming out from the side of Rise. You're going to gank bot. Let me gank the jungle. Inari has to concede something. Drake started for the side of Inari, though. Ooh, okay. Do you know what? This could have gone one of two ways. I feel with the reset support, this could have been a risky Drake. But with that invade, I kind of like that play. Aggressive. You never see a Pantheon take early Drakes. You know, I've seen a Shyvana take an early Drake. Hey, I'm going back in time. I've seen a Warwick take an early Drake. But yeah, Pantheon early Drakes. It's 2026, guys, yeah? Game's end in 28 minutes. It is what it is. As Hero leaves the top side, almost. Wants one more, but Nat is home in time, and there's no vision.
And as one player leaves, someone else returns, and that's me. So let's take a look at the state of this game.
Welcome back. Right, let me fill you in. Super quick. Jungle went over to Inari. They did gank the bot lane after. Jamsu did die, flash used, but Sakura got the kill.
So what you're saying is the flash is now back up again. So we're all okay, actually, because next fight we're going to have it. Yeah, see? Okay, perfect. Wonderful. And, I see a whole 4 CS lead in this top lane. So, that's winning. We take those.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's a little bit more of a passive Aatrox build. The Bramble start. I like my Aatrox's, world ending, not surviving forever. But, it's a respectable build. Ignite used on the side of Oku as well. So that has come in with a little bit of value. Big gank from the jungler of Rise here. Who got Oku dead to rights. Gotta play it careful. Demo doesn't want to give a kill over. Is weak. Very neat gank. And that will open up the grubs. Big trade
Very
mid.
nice.
Very low, very low flashing with the Shurima shuffle. Lethal tempo, lethal decision making. What a play from no one.
That looked so bad for a second, but then it just looked so good. I fully expected the Orianna to get the kill there, but no, my bad. I apologize. Azir is just him. And just says, no, actually, I have ultimate. I'm going to send you back and you can't damage me while you're being pushed over the wall. So yeah, he just gets the kill. Very well done.
I'm sure he's saying he looked dead to me. That's the last joke I'll say today, guys. Forgive me, I had to get it out. The name was just teasing me, you understand? But a really well, you know what? It's those really mechanical outplays in the mid lane that really defines games, though. This lead, and the ego when you do get that solo kill. It's like, hey, I've got this matchup in the bag, guys. Chill, I've got this. And that's a big kill for the side of Inari.
Yeah, for sure. And also, now that I'm seeing it, we have done, once again, the classic trade of a Drake for the grubs. So the question is, which team is going to be able to use this better? Are we going to see the proper Drake stacking coming through? Or are we going to say, hey, we have grubs, we can just take all towers in eternity and there's nothing you can do about it?
I think Honestly, I think Rise having grubs is bad for Inari. But hear me out. I think their comp definitely wants to end the game before like the Xin and the Aatrox and the Orianna gets full build. I think they've got a little bit more of a rag band of picks. So I genuinely feel like full build late game, it's going to be so tough for them to pull off, and grubs would have really helped with the acceleration.
You know what, you were selling the grubs to me, and I am buying them because I fully agree with you there. I mean, if we look at the late game comp of Inari, like, yes, they have a Yunara and they have a Nazir, but no, meanwhile in this top lane, there's just so much trading going on. But the Renekton in the late game, he's not going to be that big hyper carry team fighter who just goes in, heals everything, and does all the damage. Meanwhile, we have an Aatrox, and we have a Pantheon ult.
Grand Skyfall coming in. He wants to help out. Ketsuo is weak. Will flash. It's a little bit too late. We do have the mids traded, and the junglers get their first licks in. 1-on-1. Nat will want a little bit more, but Q bails out. And, 2 kills for the Xin at this point as well. Really well played from Inari to get another kill onto that mid.
Yeah, we just see both junglers coming in, just killing the mid laners, and then staring at each other like, yeah, we did our jobs. We did good. I respect you. And then just leaving again.
Oko getting smacked about a bit there. Literally, he based on 10%, came back to lane and went, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I respect the confidence, but that is a big sword. And a little plated boots won't square up to the bramble vest. So, you got to cool off a little bit there, mate. Size up when you got that build built. But yeah, this top lane pressure is going to be so important. Little CS leads, EXP swings, it all comes into play. There's a little EXP lead on demo from that gank. So it all matters in this matchup. And it's going to really matter late game when these guys have to assist on that frontline engage.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, now taking a look at just the way they're already setting up all over the map, I'm really interested to see how they can keep going in with this Pantheon, because the vision control is actually quite nice, but Ketsu is taking a lot of damage here, actually, just from the poke.
Oh, lethal tempo is stacked up. Ketsuo kites back. The big engage from Q, and it will be a kill. The spear hits from downtown, but the World Ender is in the building. What a roam from Demo to see that through as Rise. Oh, I was going to say get 2, but he'll live with a bit. But again, mid's traded.
Yeah, once again, it's just the poor mid laners. They're just on the receiving end of everyone else on the team saying, we want to fight, we want to ARAM, and mids are like, no guys, please, we have minions to kill here. Just let us be.
Yeah, Rise chipping away that dragon as well. I don't think Inari really want to do that, and I dare say they had the early game comp. I'm quite surprised that, you look at the goal graph, you think, 23k for Inari, 4 kills to 3. Drake fight, definitely Rise. Strange. You'd expect them to put a little bit more into it.
Yeah, especially because now we're getting to look at that gold difference, where the one part where this big gold lead, or like any of this gold lead for the side of Inari actually is coming from, is in this bot lane, where of course Yunara has been able to push and get to these plates on the bot tower. But despite having that lead, they weren't able to convert that into actually getting the Drake, as you said. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Very surprised, and this is a very good sign for a Rise in the future of this game for them.
100%. Long live the scrim results. This could be the first official reflection as the 1v1 mid is taken on. Ketsuo looked like there was a 2-cannon minion wave. No one is felled.
Well, you were just saying about, the ego moment when you get that solo kill. But, this time around, Ketsuo just says, I'm not even going to take damage. I'm just going to kill you for overstaying here. That was not even close. So this must definitely be a big ego boost.
100%. And these builds, you've got Ketsuo on that pokey build, the haste ramping up, the boots are locked in. There's a lot of focus required to keep your CS up and aggression up in a lane when you're building Nash's, which is an essential all-in, or I'm going to be in auto-attack range, which is Orianna's most lethal range. So, yeah, I guess just getting exhausted from that constant focus. And Ketsuo just says, yeah, I'll take a free kill. And Flash was still up for no one, so it was a big death.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so... Oh, meanwhile, just I swear, every time Ezreal has to E out, I keep worrying like, oh my god, is he gonna have to flash after that as well? But no, it's just a little bit of trading coming through everywhere. The thing is, they are very aggressive in their constant trading patterns, but it seems that despite all that aggression, the kills haven't actually come through as much. It's still almost all focused around this mid lane, with now, being 2-3-1 and 1-3-2. Like, what are these poor mid laners supposed to do? They're just trying to do their jobs.
We are seeing a big play bot. Nat has read it though, does take the initiation. Renata ultimate flying in from the back as Pure takes this 1-on-1. Nat wanting to disengage as best he can. Pulls up by the AD carry. Nico will get knocked about by Zin, but is kiting very well. Nami is buffing, but the damage is there. The Grand Skyfall is late, but it's not late. It does get a kill there, but again, I think the kills were just not great there. AD carry going down and jungler, but just the support on the side of Ryze.
Yeah, that was it. It started off looking so good, and then we saw the flashes being used, and we were like, okay, that's great. All three people on the side of Ryze used their flashes, but then in the end they just kept going in, and they said, no, let's go back in. And then exactly what we said was going to happen when this Pantheon starts ulting in, we know exactly where he's going to land, and they're going to use all their abilities exactly on that spot.
It's scary, man. And you know what? We just saw top lane as well. An absolute clout from Demo to send Oku back again. Oku completing Eclipse this game. I don't ever think he's going to find value from a short trade into Demo, who's got that kind of build, right? I get it, he's got a HP lead, okay, and Eclipse steals percentage max HP, so it makes sense. But at the same time, is this really the build that's going to make him toe-to-toe this Aatrox mid-late game? I'm a bit scared, because, I mean, that build screams, I'm ahead early game, and I want to really just snowball, and I'll build tank later, but he's not up right now, so it's a really risky build from Oku.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And I mean, in the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical about the Rumble Vest because, in general, you were completely right. We want to see a bit more of the damage focus, but at this point, it seems to be doing its job quite well, to the point where now there's a 30 CS lead being built in this top lane, and it feels like Renekton just isn't really able to match Aatrox anymore.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's a bit of an inverted lead. The bot lane of Inari putting through towers, the top lane of Ryze putting through towers, which kind of leverages that gold lead, except, of course, Ezreal's getting a little bit more XP and gold as compared to the top matchup, who's down 30 CS. That's a big lead.
Yeah, for sure. And now we see that the next objective is this Rift Herald, and both sides are kind of teetering a little bit, moving everyone towards the mid lane once again, spreading out their vision to see if anything's going on there. But so far, it looks like just whoever is the next person to step up and get caught out is going to be the one who decides which team gets to go to this Rift Herald without any team actually directly having to enter that river themselves.
I love Jamsu just gingerly walking in that brush to see if... let me just put a red down here just in case. As we do see the jungler of Ryze look for a crocodile. Can see some camps up though. And this is interesting because Inari have got fantastic vision around that Herald. This could spell a little free objective for the side of Inari if they pull the trigger. They do see here in that bot lane, and yeah, they do tap away as we do see a fight in the top lane. The latest victim to fight Demo will be flung though. The Emperor's Divide, a little scarier, but it does distract them from the grubs, or the Herald even, as we do see another Drake coming out for Ryze.
Yeah, exactly that. It looks like the team is just going off, but another dive.
Big dive onto Ketsuo. Oh, Nat in nowhere. He's been tethered back in, and they disengage, but it's a little bit too late. The dive's in tatters. Demo says that's enough. Will take that freebie from Jamsu. But yeah, what is going on? They had the Herald, and they could have actually got so much gold, but they flip it, and it goes wrong, and it's not great. Inari's comp need this early game.
Yeah, no, exactly what you said. What is going on? Because they saw Ryze going bot. Ryze got the tower, and it should have just been a free Herald. But then they're like, okay, actually, Aatrox is stepping up a little bit here. We can fight that. So Nat peels off the Herald, goes to fight this Aatrox, but Aatrox just dashes back over the wall and says, no, I can walk away. I have the World Ender. I'm fast. And then they try to overcommit by that dive, meaning they don't get the Herald. And then Ketsuo uses the teleport, and the two of them are able to stall for long enough for the rest of the team to show up. And, well, if you're trying to dive a team that has a Renata there, that's not going well for you.
And I mean, you know, let's just cast our minds to the team chats right now. You know, you've got the side of Rise saying, don't worry, if we get to late game, our Orianna Xin combo's going to one-shot, Aatrox going to take over. And I guess Inari's comms are, well, let's hope for a big 5-man shuffle, but the Azir's 1 of 4. I mean, it's got to be a really scary outcome. I wouldn't put money on a Pantheon squaring up to a Xin or really creating pressure, especially when Rise start to joust for these late-game objectives. I think we're going to see Inari really sort of cave in and give a lot for free, which is definitely what they don't want to happen.
No, I fully agree, because with Orianna, with her Orianna ball, you are creating so much space just by existing there. And then you have the Ezreal, who's able to just move around the map move around the space so quickly that if you want to commit something like either the Pantheon or the Renekton with that stun, well, you're putting yourself in danger of being zoned off from the rest of your team right away, because Nico can never just step up and be in that dangerous sort of situation.
100%. And it is a scary game, as we do see big damage items coming out from the Orianna. The passive builds are dead. There isn't a Rod of Ages. There isn't a Seraph, so it's just flat damage. As we do see an aggression in the bot lane demo. Fancies a little bit of the Emperor. Stun comes out from Nat, tangles him up, but that is a big... I don't know what Nat was thinking there, but he's not checking the build. Flash used here, but he's got a long walk home. The follow-through coming from Sakura. The Tidal Wave connects. Renata ult will not, and that is going to be a survive. I definitely thought Nat was dead there, but it does go on as they forge turrets to slow the advance of Rise.
For now, Inari managed to get out unscathed, but that definitely had me worried there. Because we saw the Aatrox going in with that World Ender, and if just one of those Qs would have landed, I genuinely think all 3 of them might have been dead. That is just how dangerous the situation is at this point, because an Aatrox that's ahead has so much impact.
Big aggression from Inari again. They do have a little power play here as they force the flash out of Xin. But Demo's out front, but he's isolated. He could be felled here. He's taking a lot of damage. The ball is in and it hits 2. That is a huge up from Ketsuo, and that will pull Demo out of the pit and give him a second chance. And they'll take 2. Well played from Ketsuo.
And once again, Demo lives for so long that Ketsuo is able to TP in again and make the same play that happened in the top lane again. It looked so good for Inari. They started with 4 people there, but then Aatrox just said, nah, you know what, we're good, actually. I'm just going to heal all my HP back up, and there's not really anything you can do about that.
Somebody give me the statistics on the Sundered Sky right now. On my life. What an item, by the way. Just saving him. He looked dead as well. That was a full engage with everything that Inari had. Picture that, but with a 5v5. I'm scared for Inari, but respect to the comp. They are showing that their early aggression has to be respected. But Rise just doing so well to outmaneuver currently.
I mean, at this point, it really is just so difficult because you have the single target CC from Renekton and Pantheon, but who do you even lock down? Because if you go for the 2 team members with the most kills, the Xin Zhao and the Orianna, you still have an Aatrox able to run onto your backline and an Ezreal just being able to chill and just dish out all the free damage. But if you go for those instead, you have the Xin Orianna combo.
Okay.
But we're somehow starting the
It's time for the big flip. They know they're going to do something crazy, and Ari has started the Baron as Demo says, hey guys, does anybody fancy a 5v5? True shot barrage will hit 3. The Emperor scooping Demo into the team, but he's taking a lot of damage. He will live again. Oh, this is a gritty fight. They've got the front to back form. Renata keeping him alive, but he will go down to Nico. Big damage coming out from the side of Rise as they try and mop up this team fight, but Inari aren't rolling over. Big shot wave from Ketsuo against 2. 3 kills. And Pantheon's jumping back.
Oh, no.
I respect it. It's got to be all over. That is such a tough fight, but the Hail Mary play from Inari looks like a big withdrawal for the side of Rise.
Yeah, definitely. It looked so questionable in the beginning, just starting off that Baron and just tanking it and shredding those resistances. But then it actually started looking good for Inari, and I was questioning like, oh, maybe this is just the most Giga play I've ever seen. But then there was just that extended fight going on. The Orianna saved Shockwave for the very end to make sure she gets those kills, and then yeah, once again the Pantheon. I respect the attempt. It's the team fight is lost. You want to get at least something in return for it. But unfortunately, just Rise respected and knew exactly where he would come down through abilities. And just like that, Rise is expanding on their lead.
I think we'll go as far as a Skyfall. I'm not going to give him the grand. He's not going to get the grand, Skyfall, as they square up for another big flip. It's time for a big flip. The wards are looking great. That Crocodile is hidden, but Jamsey catches him mid-charge, and they want to take this fight. Ku jumps in. The ball is ready. Great tidal wave to separate the front line. Ketsuo gets one. The Crocodile is slain. Nico takes the 1v4. Is felled. Demo wants another fish in the tank for the triple. Oh, come on.
Oh,
Big
no.
Rest in peace.
The poor fish. She was just trying to swim away. She just wanted peace. But no, there's no mercy to be had from the World Ender. He said, I am Aatrox, I am a Darkin, and I am here to take everything that is mine. And that is, at this point, going to be their inhib tower, the Baron, and why not also just the top tower? Because why not? We just need more money.
Well, I think Rise are grateful because they're just like, oh, there's a big, huge objective here. Thanks for bringing us to it, lads. And we'll take care of business now as we do see the mid and top towers reduce to dust. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of glass half full, but this glass, oh gosh, it's quite empty on the side of Inari. As
oh no! Oh no!
Jumps in again. The shockwave comes out. Oh. There's only one Emperor this game, and that's Ketsuo.
You're completely right. Ketsuo is doing such a great job right now with those shockwaves. And if we imagine how this game started, with Ketsuo just dying 3 times in lane because he was getting perma-ganked, he got solo killed once, but he hasn't died since then. The same 3 deaths that started this game, ever since then, he has said, no, I am the carry now. I will not be dying.
Ooh, a little bit of damage coming out. All in use. The World Enter's coming out. Can they kill the unkillable Demo as he takes the 1v3? Well, 3v3 now, but it looked scary initially until that one auto healed him for about 600 plus, and they realized it was all over. But, I mean, that was with anti-heal applied. Unless Yunari didn't get a lick in, which is incredible to think, but yeah, Rise comfortably looking aggressive here. I wonder how they can salvage this game on the side of Inari, given that... oh, a little chip on Demo. Ult used. Okay. Yeah, no, it's tough.
No. Yeah, it's just... the little bit of damage was coming in. Oh, but they're going in.
Blink and you miss it. That is 2 turned to dust. Ezreal on a rampage, and I don't even think he's had to auto-attack this game. It's just been Q's the last hit. Big shuffle will send 2 in, but it is too little, too late. The kingdom is falling apart. And, well, they'll very comfortably take game 1. Well played.
Honestly, that was such a surprisingly clean game from Rise. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Where has this Rise been for the entirety of the split?
I believed. I'm saying 2-0 Rise, yeah? And I know they've got something in there. They've got something in the tank. We could see it. Okay, let's just say a little bit of a draft diff. And I mean, I think Nat's Pantheon, the ults, they weren't as sneaky as some Pantheon ults. I mean, I'm not sure how much Spear Shot he's watched, but yeah, it was tough, man, because Inari had that early game comp. They needed to break down this Rise meta comp with this radical gameplay. Pantheon, what a tool. Gets the gank bot lane, starts the ball rolling, but support last hits the kill, and then nothing really happened. It was a bit of a mid-flip. Yeah, tough game from... I don't know if Inari got out hands, though. I think they got out comped. And going into game 2, I think they'll feel like, we'll just get the comp right, and it'll be normal.
Yeah, and maybe, if we have the better early game team comp, let's not get out everything in the early game and then have them just be able to throw their wallets at us, because that really is what it was in the end. Demo might have not been an unkillable Demon King. He was an unkillable Darken King right there.
100%. What a fantastic game from Demo. He's an absolute beast. So locked in as well. And I think Oku just kind of misread the build and just sort of, I think, misread the lane, right? That armor stacking up so early and so useful. It was just like, I don't know, it's really hard to come back. And we saw the Eclipse coming out as he was diving over a wall and the tower just explodes. So, I mean, definitely nothing working there. So it was a tough one, man, but a sobering game. In every 2-game series, you always come back with that hunger to right things. So I don't think Inari are going to just lie down and take it. I think they're going to come back. And with that, we will be handing back to the desk for a lovely breakdown of the game.
I think you guys read that game incredibly well. I'm quite proud. I'm quite happy.
I mean, in from the draft phase, I think correct. I think we were like, yeah, this draft for Rise is good. We like the way they play it. They've picked the right type of champions for the right kind of players. I will have to hold my hand up and say I lost faith in Ketsuo at the exact moment he decided to completely giga carry this one. So that's just the Ketsuo effect, I suppose. That's just what happens with this guy. We've seen this.
Yeah, we know he's got the sauce. It's just it's just not always on the plate.
It'd been a while. It'd been a while, and I forgot about the sauce.
Gizmo, you got to be feeling pretty confident. You had the prediction, you had all the bits, and you had a pretty good read on this top dive as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I need to say much about the game. I feel like it was very, very obvious. I think here, obviously we see them moving up on Vision in the jungle, get Jamsu over. Early TP, Shockwave can clear the wave if they don't want to continue more. Aatrox can back off, but they continue the dive. Nice Shockwave here, just clears it up. Obviously, the aggressive nature of the Aatrox really coming forth here. Jamsu coming back over as well just really helps clear this up. And I mean, this is probably the biggest swing for them, but they were trickling away as Rise. But as the team fight comp, getting handed this much gold is great, right? That's literally you going, thank you, I've now won the game.
Yeah, it was just like, well, that's the moment, because Xin Zhao's getting Dragon on the other side of the map. Like he's doing the cross map play to your play while you're trying to do the play. Like
Ezreal got 3 plates as well, mid.
The whole thing falls apart in like 30 seconds, and it's such a massive swing because you can see what they're thinking, right? Like Aatrox is ult down, right? Cool. Like this is the time we punish with our Pantheon comp. Love this, and it couldn't go more wrong after the end of it.
Let's all dive him all in a circle. Just a small enough circle for a shockwave. That's what we want.
Yeah.
It was pretty brutal. And that kind of was the peak of Rise sort of slipping away. And what did they do about it, Gizmo? What did they do?
Well, at this point, they're 7k down, right? They have to sort of make a play. They have a few tools to try and snowball. I think realistically at this point, trying to do a Baron flip makes some logical sense. You're 7k behind. Does it fit your comp? Not really. But yeah, they snowball into this tiny little nook here, and of course that just favors the side of Rise, and just slowly get chipped away at. You can see the whole time that they are going low. This is where we sort of need the bailout to come through for the Aatrox to really get this as a clean wipe. Orianna did hold ulti. There was a bit debate in the green room whether or not they had ulti the whole time, but it does come through at the end. But yeah, that Orianna combo has really worked wonders for this team. I think it's worked wonders in the whole of the UKEL. And of course, Pantheon coming at the end. X does mark the spot, and Ezreal's easy to predict that. So yeah, nice cleanup.
Absolutely. We're not chalking it up to the balance team, but I think there is maybe a reason that Orianna slated for some rather sizable nerfs next patch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's with the Blackfire rush as well. No Lutens or anything. It's just like, okay, we're
just do you need to spike damage if their health bars are just bleeding down to zero so fast? We're going to look ahead to game 2 in just a moment. For now, a quick break. See you in a moment.
Ejects are up! Venomcrest take game 3!
Oh, Malphite. All right, here we go. Just
still going for this space. You would as Chimera super low.
Trouble, but there's the Rakan coming in for the shielding. The shielding again.
Oh my god! And everyone bow down to Venomcrest. Two-time champions. Bow down to Jim.
Fiend, but then I think you're on. And hello, everybody. We're back. I was definitely not ruminating
so hard
what we're gonna do
right up to live.
What we're gonna do about this Aatrox Gizmo.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Inari are going to try and pick it up early here. You know, obviously they're on blue side first pick. It's sort of been taken over the league recently. I think Rob touched on it earlier. Every game we see an Aatrox in, all of a sudden it's just got all of the kills, all of the map pressure. And you know, in the last game, it was dying, living, living. A bit like Jon Snow. I expected it in the bot side, but actually came in the top side.
A twist.
Yeah, big
just
twist.
A little one.
And yeah, it's been really good counter into like a few mainstays, you know, like Mundo, the Scion, the Aatrox, the Ornn. So I feel like, you know, you either pick it up early in the first rotation or you try and ban it. Orianna's the big other contested pick. I've seen quite a lot of. UKEL love that pick, especially comboed with J4s in, you know, sometimes Vi even, you know, just those sort of picks that just you press in, go in. Used to be Nocturne, now it's looking for other things. So I feel like those two picks are on the chopping blocks for the bans here.
In the first set, we saw Nidalee, Kindred, and Neferi all pick her bans. Do you think Neferi Orianna might be the run back?
Oh, dude, that'll be a spicy one. Neferi Orianna is cursed technology, but that might be what we need to see from Inari. I think that honestly they were playing far too many meta champs in the last game, if I'm honest. And they did not look as comfortable. You know, the head coach had said this is going to be a tough series mentally for them because they have had rough scrim results against Ryze, and Ryze do seem to have managed to translate to stage for the first time. So they are going to have, as Gizmo kind of touched on the momentum idea, Ryze has got all the momentum now because they came in with 2 scrims worth of it. Now they've got the first win. They've got their critical win to turn their split around. They are going to be amped up for the second game. And Inari, I think, are probably, whether or not they should, they are, I think, going to regress back to like ultimate comfort picks. We're going to get weirder in the draft. We're going to get something a bit more off the wall, and that maybe that's what Inari have to do. Maybe that's the niche they have to use to try and trip Ryze up, because Ryze are rolling right now.
With them going over to blue side, Gizmo, are we locking that Orianna in blue one? Are we breaking the pattern of last draft?
If it goes through, right, I'm expecting it first, right? I feel like 90% of UKEL teams are taking that in the first rotation if it's up. Otherwise, they're picking, you know, Xin is also a big one that's getting picked early, and now recently the Aatrox as well. So I think it's those three that are on my mind. Whether or not they get to the ban phase is a different thing. But I do agree with CJ. I think that, you know, Inari, they try to play meta. I feel like this is the time where you put stuff off meta, put people out of their comfort zone. I mean, I'm a big fan of that myself.
He's great at parties, folks. He's great.
Played with his Caitlyn support. You know,
it works. Okay,
crazy stuff.
Works. Ezreal support's a thing, okay, and you know it. Okay, it's been played.
I thought it was too inconsistent. I thought it was missing Qs and it's high variable or whatever.
I don't miss Qs, and you know it.
Right, okay, that's the key. If you're easy. Okay, sorry, I forgot you were easy.
Yeah, let's roll back to the teams, okay? Because we can go through my solo queue history as a different segment, okay? That's his own show.
Yeah. That's the whole Saturday show on Gizmo's solo queue history, to be honest.
But yeah,
so,
I feel like
UKEL carrier aside over here. We're gonna change things up. We can't be playing the same game again from the other side, is what you're saying.
No, I feel like, you know, they had the opportunity to play sides in the last game. They opted into team fights, tried to do some dives, didn't go in their favor. Feel like if you're gonna pick a thematic draft, you got to stay true to that. And in the end, they ended up going into the team fight, trying to like throw into the Baron. Yes, they had a fast take, but also then that option into the team fight in easy flexibility from Ryze, so you sort of have to play to your comp. Simple to execute is always a good standard, but make it maybe off meta. An off meta, easy to execute comp, not that hard to cook up, surely.
Yeah, just something with a different line, Trajan, right? We've tried sort of 2 front to back teams, Aatrox being like numero uno of front to back, backed up by a Renata, was the difference. We saw like a glimmer of hope in our Baron replay where like Yunara got the Aatrox down, was letting loose. Unfortunately, Orianna cut it down to pieces. what would be the other way? Do you want to change the AD carry? Do you want to change sort of the tip of the spear, or do you want to change what's behind it?
I think we need to, as much as Ketsuo decided to show up and completely Giga Smash that game, I think that we need to try and fix the mid lane matchup. I think that no one and Nat is naturally where their wins come from mostly. Nat, I think, uses his deep pool very, very effectively, and no one, I think, with the right support in a kind of metaphorical sense, I think he can contest Ketsuo. I think he can like destabilize it. I think between the two of them, they can push Ketsuo out of a game, and I think once Ketsuo is pushed out of a game, he's not much of a comeback player. I think that is where they need to play from. I think Nico and Sakura are perfectly like cromulent in bot lane, and DDD and Jamso, they're not going to dominate the 2v2. We didn't see it in game 1 either, right? They weren't smashing the lanes. I think Nico and Sakura can pick a lane like even just like a Xayah and something, right? Something to just give them a stable lane to scale up and team fight with. That's maybe a little bit more agency than a Yunara in the very early stages, but I think mid jungle is where Inari have to play for. I think, get rid of the Orianna. Don't let Ketsuo get away with it for free. They needed to put him on a stable mage. That's what Rise did. Now Inari need to get him off it.
All right, I come to you with news that off stream, the Absolve set finished 2-0 over Gucci. So,
over 2 over Gucci. Okay.
Will it be only Brod and Friends scoring 1-1 tonight? We are about to find out. Rise Gaming 1-0 after the first set. The fruity band's still here, but Rise no longer allowed to play Ezreal.
Yeah, forced to play a real bot laner for 2v2. Unfortunate for DDD. Are we going back to Varus? Where did that bring us back to Varus, or is there something else that DDD can pull out here? No.
No more Varus, no more Karma, no more Seraphine. Give me a fight in bot lane. Okay.
You're telling me it's not just going to be Ash Seraphine for the 8,000th time? I don't know. I think that's probably what's coming down the pipe.
Bit of a pause here on the end. The target ban coming through on 2 each. It's like Inari aren't quite sure after seeing Rise run it back.
Okay, so they're getting rid of the Xin. If they actually lock that through, I mean, okay, get rid of Munda. So
I think Zin's a wasted ban.
I feel like here, you get rid of the Orianna, so that sort of gets rid of that mid matchup. Okay, Vilock, right? The response on the other side, you want something with movement in mid, something that can sort of get away from the Vi's damage, or at least like take away some of that setup for the burst. We've seen Vi Rise come up fairly often in the UKEL, which I'm not the biggest fan of it, but can work. I wonder if Rise are going to pick. We've seen a bit of a rise in Anivia, and I got a feeling in the next couple of weeks we're going to see a bit more of that. But yeah, I think Rise just secure themselves like a strong bot lane here, right, and just say we're fine. I'd like to see the Xayah come out a bit more, but yeah, Yunara. Maybe it's Yunara and Nami. Maybe that's what they take. They just take that away from last game.
Yeah, because the Renata was great. I don't know if Yunara Renata is real. I assume it's like generally just Yunara and Enchanter kind of vibe. But again, Jamsi's Renata was good, but I don't really want to see him picking Lulu right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. Like the Yunara.
Lulu.
Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly he's allowed to pick it. I'll tell him that he's allowed to pick it, but would I ask him to? No, I don't think I would. So like, I think taking Nara does, I think, pinch bot lane a little bit for Rise. It just kind of pushes Jamsi away from some of his best champs and cuts the options. And yeah, there it is.
You love it.
Shockers to everybody.
I wonder if we're going to see Emilio in return, right? Because that's been the standard answer, right? What I'd like to see is a heavy engage, right? Something that can play in or out of the wave. My floated idea, bit of an off-meta take, is the Amumu.
Yeah.
We'll just see the Rise and just trade aggressively over the wave, because that way you can stand in the wave, trade over it, gives you a bit more protection. Also, was really good in the last couple of games against Inari. They got caught out a lot by the Bard ult, so yeah, with the
Bard.
We alluded to it earlier on and ended last draft. Yeah. Are we just banning away the Anivias of the world now? Because I see 2 AD carries that like want to reach, want to be in a zone and not stand still, but sort of unleash their damage from a fixed point. So are we all in on that? We're taking away Shens, we're taking away other pieces that interact. Is it all about the AD carries right now?
I mean, I think no one is still going to lock in a Vi combo. It's going to be like Talia or Ari.
Or Yasuo?
Yeah, it could be Yasuo. It could be Win, brother. But I think there's still room for no one to pick in something that is a strong Vi combo, because you got Ashe Seraphine as we've got 2v2 now, and we don't have to do anything about it. They're just going to 2v2, and then they can still play through mid jungle, which I think is still what they want to do.
Got any picks on the tip of your tongue, Gizmo?
I think Inari are probably fishing for a rumble here. Based on the initial start of their comp, that's normally what they go to, and then you chuck an AD mid on that. I'm going to expect a Yone. So that's been the normal comp to sort of finish out. Whether or not Rise has been looking into that and then trying to work out what they do into it, I feel like it's a pretty easy trap for them to fall into. I mean, you got Sion still open for top, Ornn still open, pretty good champs into Rumble, or you can just take the Rumble yourself. But I'd rather just take the CC.
If Inari takes Yone, you know what I want to see? I want to see another Mel. Because you know what really annoys Yone in lane? Is Mel. And we're playing a weird amount of Mel now in the UKEL. And it also is against Vile and Seraphino. I think the Mel goes kind of hard here, I'll be honest. I don't know if Ketsuo has one, but... You know, we've got the front line locked down already. We don't need more.
Alright, Gizmo, we've had enough of this Mel apologist. What's coming next?
Yeah, you need to stop putting me on the desk, bro.
I think it is
Rumble. About Mel every time.
I do think it's a Rumble Yone, and then I do think Mel is a great answer with the rest of the comp. I do think it gets in trouble with the vibe, but I do sort of expect it. Maybe they'll take it instead. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, with the Ambassador Harvard already, but...
Okay. Yeah, that's not good for Mel. That's very bad for Mel. I don't think it's a good Mel, actually.
You can't reflect the public execution, I take it.
No, and then she just dashes on your head.
I guess,
can't go anywhere.
You know, following year of sometimes Vi top lane, there is still like an inch of flexibility here. Not a huge amount, let's be real. The amount of people who play Vi top, very small.
What you do is you put the Seraphine mid, the Ashe support, and the Rise ADC, and all of a sudden the comp comes together.
Just like that. Just like that. Like Yunara step up on who? Step up on the blue guy? Think not. Cassiopeia Harvard would be like the LCK answer. We've seen that a few times this LCK Cup.
I don't know if we're...
I'm not sure. Ketsuo with a lot of pressure on him is a combination that is feast or famine, that's for sure.
We have seen this from him before in splits past. I think we've seen him Vlad it up on a Thursday, and I don't know.
Ooh,
yeah, there it is. Okay.
Thursday night.
So like we did end up with the Vi Rise that you were kind of mentioning. Yeah, it's like it's fine, but it's not necessarily as optimal. But I think it does give them, like, you know, they've got a pretty beefy front line to get through, kind of deceptively beefy. With Ambessa Rise, they've got great engage options with Vi and Ashe and Seraphine. But does Vlad care about any of that, is my worry. Like, I think he just presses E and goes whoop and then kills you all, so I don't know.
There's a wee submarine, is that the way out?
Yeah.
Mundo V2 basically, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, it's in the clips. He's 10 HP, he's 10 HP, get him. Oh no, he's full HP, my bad guys.
My bad. Like, I've pushed Q on you and an arbitrary amount of your health has been reduced. I'll do it again after a little while. It's it's very reminiscent of the gameplay. So I like the Rise into the Yunara. We're sort of holding decent range there. There is like reasonable backwards and forwards in the threat. Gizmo, does the Vladimir like spin this, or what's your overall thoughts?
I think it's fine. I think that it has its opportunities in the team fights to get through, right? I mean, the issue is you can't get onto the back line of that comp, but with the initial set out, it's quite hard for you to get through that. You've got the Ambassador dive on your backside. It's quite hard. That does just sort of go, I'm just going to pull and just walk right through and try and stop me, sort of thing. And once that ulti goes down, the combo is pretty fast to burst that back line. I feel like it does sort of redeem a few things, but also the rest of your comp is going, we can try and front the back. So a little bit disconnected there. Unsure, maybe you try and burst the first target, but you're going to put all your damage into an Ambessa or someone else who's going through first. It's quite hard. But does give that safety in the mid side. You know, you're not going to get that Viality coming to the mid, are you? Let's be honest. Which
no point, bro.
Just as I wait for time to throw to casters, I have a quick quiz for you both.
Oh boy.
Guess how many games Vlad has been picked this competitive season, and how many he's won of those. Quickly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Trajan.
Twice. And he's 2-0.
Twice and he's 2-0. You get 1 point. Gizmo, your guesses.
Once and one.
Unfortunately, he's been picked 9 times so far this split. That's a lot more than I thought. Can you tell I don't watch one of these regions? And he does have 2 wins. Congratulations to 369 and Bisque.
Bisque
over in the the Road of Legends, which one of our teams has recently come second in. So we're basically about the same power level. Whether we can make the difference on this 22.2% win rate champion will yet be seen. Unfazed, Leo, take it away.
Wow. I mean, Vlad's stats. I'm still a bit scared, man. I mean, you know, they wanted to put Pt.2 on a mage before, Leo. Are we feeling super comfortable at the Vlad pick here?
I mean, he is a mage, you are correct. But I think that very pivotal piece of that name that is missing, control mage, I think the control part is really missing here, because normally we have these nice things where, oh, beautiful, we get the draft up, where the mages have some big CC, like the Orianna Shockwave, or like a Syndra stun coming through, and, you know, Vladimir, he's just a little guy. He walks up, he presses his buttons, he does damage, and then he can either, for example, phase rush away or just pull away, but that's not necessarily stunning or CCing anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that both compositions, usually you have like a really obvious front to back, and then you've got like that more radical Inari last comp game where it's just like opportunistic engage and just madness. But I mean, Vlad's kind of like, oh, they're close enough, let's just all in. Ambessa's thinking they're close enough, all in. Vi's thinking the same. Rise is thinking the same. Zin's thinking the same. So yeah, I think these comps could be a bit chaotic, and I don't know who Inari could confidently say, oh, we'll ult now, because Vlad wants it. He'll pull and negate the damage, and if the Vault Break is in flight, that'll be avoided. You don't really want to ult Zin because he'll ult last minute and then he'll deny the damage follow through. Ornn's unmoving. Bard's going to be super tanky, and Yunara's golden from the Bard ult. I mean, there's no easy all in. I think this is going to be a super scrappy game, man. And I do like Inari's all in, but I think Rise have got buttons to press.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, because we were talking about this a little bit, that yeah, both teams, they definitely have the buttons to, as you said, the buttons to press to go in. But the thing is, Rise is quite short range if you look at this, where Inari, we're looking at this a little bit, maybe we can just do some Ashe and Seraphine poke and then press all the buttons. Whereas on the side of Rise, they're just like, nah, button time, we're going in right now. So I'm a little bit nervous here, to be completely honest. I think last time I heavily favored the Rise comp, and this time I'm a little bit more hesitant, because I think there's a lot more execution mistakes that can be made.
I agree. And I mean, I've always had this sort of like itch when it comes to like, or ick even, when it comes to pairing Rise with like an Ambessa or a Vi, because they're very much, I'm going here, and Rise is like, I want the fight on me so that I can get my damage out. And he's kind of just running in a line for half the fight, trying to gap close. Whereas, you know, your Oriannas, your Syndras, there's just a lot more follow through with the Vi, whereas Rise kind of has to get into position. So these fights have to be on their turf, else I feel like the damage is just going to be chasing the Vi Ambessa in the next map.
Oh, what a smooth transition that one was. Holy.
Just took your breath away. What a slight. We are back on the Rift for game 2. Inari, they've got the Men in Black device out. They've just flashed themselves. They want to win now. No more thinking about that last game. Rise about to set themselves up for a good stance for the rest of this league fixtures. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what they've got in the tank. Both teams are coming into this hungry.
But early on the desk, I believe it was Trajan, did say that, you know, Rise is kind of like a vibes team. So if we see that last game was such a big stomp, the vibes in this team should be really good. So the question is, can they continue these good vibes to now also snowball through this game?
100%. And we've got like really safe summoners on the side of Rise with that cleanse on the Yunara. That's forgiving, especially in a game with as much lockdown and instant CC as this. It means that Nico's going to have to be a bit selective with that. But I really want to see Jamsu on this Bard really power through, because Bard's got so many tools to tangle up the Seraphine 6+. I think in the early levels they will be in the back foot. But yeah, I think he's going to have some cool ideas in the tank, and I'm hoping he can execute as well.
Yeah, I fully agree. My only concern is, if we do get to the late game, who's going to be the one to deal with all the shields? Where are we going to have the Serpent's Fang?
Oh, hey, listen. Vlad doesn't need the Serpent's Fang, okay? But I'm quite surprised he didn't go Ghost this game. I know Ignite's really cool for like the duels, and I always just thought that he'd need a bit more to outmaneuver that really crunchy all-in that they do have on the side of Inari. So yeah, I think Ignite's a bit of a solo queue stomper build. Maybe feeling himself after game one. He's like, I've beat this guy before. Let me run it back. But yeah, just flash on Vlad is it does limit your all-in as DDD catches a lot of folk.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, we do know Phase Rush did get nerfed for ranged users, so Vlad isn't opting into it. But Ryze still is, and Ryze has the Ghost that you were just talking about. So, you know, one of these champions might be a little bit faster at running people down than the other one.
You typically see Ignite in a game where you're going to get kill after kill, or at least pressure the mid lane. And I dare say, if this Ryze gets his first or second item, or at least one item complete, he'll be so tanky to one-shot as Vlad. I don't think that Ignite's ever going to be used mid lane. So I'm hoping they've got an idea for it late, as Demo lets Oku know that he's still in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, after... Oh, never mind. There's more fighting going on.
Hold on. Big fight. They do go for Oku, but it's a bit too much this time. The damage isn't there. The entire Inari team is flooding through. The man in blue will get a kill. He'll be feeling good about that. He'll be feeling good. Ignite on Getsuo, but Ryze gets first kill.
And I mean, see, this time Inari is learning. Last time it was everyone coming to the mid lane and the mid laner is dying. This time the mid laners are like, no, we've had enough of that. We are moving to the other places and we are going to be the ones doing the killing. And it works out perfectly for this Ryze.
Yeah, just a superb sort of hive mind rotation there to the punish on that crab. And I mean, you know, that's the kind of mid laner that I want in my games in solo queue. I always just die for the crab. I definitely think that they'll be thinking twice about making that aggression, as we do see Jamsu take somebody into the mid lane. I can actually see on map that there is a Ryze running for his life as the Cosmic Binding falls short, but the meeps do a slow. Ryze is quick, and that's a lot of investment for no kills.
Yeah, and in the end, it was also that Scuttle Crab speed up. That's a tongue twister right there. Making sure that he can just get away with that extra speed. Doesn't even have to worry too much. Oku moves down to just say, like, hey guys, remember it's a team game. But in the end, everyone's posturing, but not too much is happening at once.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a greedy red ward there by Sakura. I think Jamsu would be very pleased with that exchange of gold. Very grateful. Often find with some supports when they do put the pink wards deep and they don't have the means to defend them, it can be a bit of a waste of gold. And that ward, it didn't really serve much purpose.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you have to get your vision score up somehow, and apparently this is the way to do it, you know? We need to get those A ratings so that you can get Aegis of Valor coming in, because surely that also applies in UKEL, right?
100%. I'm never going to lose LP in an autofill game ever again. You just watch how many pink wards I'm just going to smack them everywhere. As Nat goes toe-to-toe with a Drake. And it does look as though it might be under the Ryze radar, even with scuttle control. Must have just come over the back wall and tapped away. Yeah, it's going to be sneaky.
Yeah, and not only that, realistically, even if they did know, I doubt there's that much they can do about it, because this Seraphine Ashe is just being so obnoxious right here, just permanently pushing this in and just making sure that the bot lane just has to stay where they are, which on one hand, like, it's okay for DDD to pick up whatever minions he can, but it also makes sure at this point that Bard can't roam as much as he would potentially like to, because there is that dive threat.
100%. And I mean, the good thing about this is for the side of Ryze, Bard getting close to 6. And when Bard gets 6, a deep bot lane is always in trouble. That ultimate is crazy good, even to burn a flash for a follow-up from that Xin. So they've got to be careful on the side of Inari to not give any kills over. Cheeky denial on the recall there as well.
That was a little bit evil right there. In the end, luckily DDD still gets that recall away. But if the Seraphine managed to cancel both recalls, just the frustration from that must be so annoying.
We're seeing a teleport top from no one is under tower, and he is going to give Oku a little kill there as he hops away. Really well played. Didn't expect Demo to be at risk there, but they've seen the window and done very well.
Yeah, no, completely. I was just barely looking on the minimap, and then I see, yeah, Rise ult is on cooldown, just making better use of that timing. And all Ketsuo can do is try to grab that one little tower plate, but in the end, very, very well done from Inari.
Yeah, I was almost betrayed by my peripheral vision. It was like, there we are, Rise in the top lane. Yep, Rise in the top lane. It's something to put here. But, yeah, I mean, this is what they need to do. They need to enable these carries. I just didn't think the aggression would be on Inari's side. I thought Rise would have had an easier few ganks, especially with the Xin, but you know, the mid lane is doing such heavy lifting at the minute. And, you know, Ketsuo is kind of just watching at the minute, which I'm a bit scared of.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it now, the surprising thing is that Rise has roamed top twice. But despite that, they're even in CS. They're even in tower plating. Like, this is just really well played overall.
Go stiff.
Go stiff.
It has to be the go stiff. And I mean, he hasn't even used the summoner spell but the ult. So yeah, it's been a pretty chill one. But we do see a little bit of aggression there from the side of Inari, poking their heads in. Want to get a start on these grubs. The second objective in a row. Rise in the area. They will engage onto mid, but this could be fruitless. Flash used. And that'll be grubs. But they know they're on the grubs. The invade's on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the end, it's not great for Rise, let's be real here, but it is better than nothing. So there is this trade coming through that we got that one jungle camp, we got the flash out of the Rise. This means Rise can be vulnerable for any ganks coming up in the future. And, you know, if you're at this point where you're just like, maybe we just need to scale up a little bit, get those first Ornn upgrade items coming through, make sure that the Vladimir is able to completely one-shot someone, and then we can start taking the fight. If that is what Rise is thinking, then you just have to accept some of these early game losses.
100%. But I mean, you know, whenever I think of a late game scaler, I think Vlad and Rise are pretty much equally scary. If not, I dare say Rise might come out ahead, as we do see the ultimate coming out from Ketsuo as a bit of a bluff of aggression there, but that is a flashless no one. He will respect that as Ketsuo set up a wave freeze. He was in the area, as is Nat. Can the junglers tip the fight mid? It's looking like it will connect. Instant ultimate use from no one. He's slick with it, and he takes the wave home as well. Says, no worries, lads. Come back next time, yeah? And that will be Flash Ignite used from Ketsuo. Slips through the fingers as the aggression flips down towards bot lane. Jamsu has the ultimate, will whiff it, but they'll force the fight. This is such an easy gank. They've just got to get onto the target. Teleport's coming out to seal the deal. Flash coming up from Nico Kite's back. But, oh, brilliant CC from the bot lane of Inari as Oku comes out of nowhere. And this fight does look like it's turning on its head. The Crystal Arrow will lock up Demo. And that's the second kill. The jungler turned on by the bot lane of Inari. 2v4 set up into 2 kills. That's a crazy good play coming out from Inari.
Oh my no, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, it feels like. And the Fed Rise wasn't even a part of it. So it looked in the beginning like such a good gang. Clearly the bot lane of Inari were extending too far forward. They were trying to hit that tower. And then, you know, Rise was just like, easy, we can gank this. But the amount of time it took them to try and actually get those kills down allowed for Inari to rally up behind them. And then they were stuck in the alcove fighting, which is exactly where that Seraphine wants to throw all her abilities into anyway. And then all of a sudden, everything just went wrong.
I mean, that is a fair take. Everything went wrong. And that can't be the story that repeats for the side of Rise. A Jamsu Don't take the portal. You know, there's two golden rules of League. Don't chase Singed, and definitely don't take the Bard portal. But yeah, I mean, missing that ultimate, Ashe and Seraphine, you know, they are quite nimble, but they're very good targets for that ultimate at that range. He should have 100% forced the flash there to get away with no flashes there. That basically the sequence of events that followed all spiraled from that initial missed ult.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. And this is just a very different team play that we're seeing from Inari from game one. Because in game one, it really felt like Rise was just running them over, and Inari was stuck on the back foot, always reacting to everything. But now it's Inari being the more sort of, just connected team where they know, okay, we see what is happening and we are going to be reacting to this even faster because they saw the bot play was going to happen. They immediately moved 2 of their players down to answer it.
And I mean, the dust is forming on the Rise mid. Nil KP at the minute. I mean, number one's opening doors. Is Hex Belt Vlad's going to come and pull this back, as we do see. Jungler's trade blows. Oh, the flash vault breaker is short, but the teleport from no one's there. He wants more as they go gold. Big lockup from Jamsu to bail out the jungler. But Q will lose blue.
Yeah, in the end, Jamsu definitely saving his jungler's life there, but still having to invest that flash, and I think a flash for a Rise ult is always worth it in these situations.
Oh yeah, I think they'd be pleased with that. Vlad getting a little bit of gold off that tower. Every time I look mid, it looks like Ketsua's doing a wave freeze, and I think, whoa, he must be up loads of CS. But they're actually still equal.
Yeah, that is exactly the crazy thing. It has been, 3 different times now where they have fought together with this Rise, and still, they're perfectly even. And of course, the bot lane is pushing. Then, you know, in the top lane, it is expected to have this CS lead. It is an Ornn you're facing. But still, these leads are building up all over the place, and they're starting to lose control of all the different sides of the map now. And if they don't have control over their side waves, they don't have control over the mid lane, at some point they won't have control over their jungle anymore either.
100%. It is a very scary slope that Rise is slithering down. They can still make a purchase and slow down this Inari run over. They do have the secret weapon scaling mid. I'm hoping they've got it in the tank for when the time comes. Kitsu pops out and says, "This is why I'm an Ignite Vladimir." We all go, "Oh yeah, it all makes sense." But I mean, I dare say that window is closing rapidly. He needs to pop off in one of these next fights, as, you know, Inari go for their 4th objective in a row potentially on this Drake.
Yeah, no, but that is exactly what it is. He is the secret super weapon, and he needs to be able to actually blow these people up. In the end, we have this Vladimir remaining, but we also have the need of a Serpent's Fang to deal with all these shields, because we do see that the tier on the Rise is almost stacked. It's going to be converted into a Seraph. That's another shield. The Eclipse on the Ambessa, that's another bunch of shields coming through. Vi, that's shielding. Seraphine, that's shielding. There's so many shields to be dealing with everywhere.
You're absolutely right. I think Demo's a bit sad, though. He's like, wait a minute, you can't be top. I've got nothing to guard from you. This isn't going to work with the Bramble and the Sunfire. I am getting hurt. Nat can see that, does swing by as Demo sent home again. Oh, actually, no, he actually stayed. Forgive me. I thought he TP'd and got chunked again, but we do see the superpower coming out. This could be the big moment for Ketsuo. Can Cure make him have his moment in the spotlight as they walk into the mid as a 4? Nat will posture aggressively here and go for the Raptor camp. Vision strong on the side of Rise as the Drake spawns in 20 seconds.
I mean, you know, at the very least, the aggressive posturing, it scared the minions away in the mid wave. So, you know, those are the little things we gotta look for. And yeah, we're really at this point where having 2 Drakes already on the side of Inari, we really need Rise to sort of step up and decide when are they going to take this fight. Because I don't even think necessarily it's getting better.
Q getting caught with the Vi ultimate and the enchanted crystal arrow. You take the Gromp, we'll take your Zin. And yeah, you know, the posturing was nice. Rise were on the Drake early. All guys were there. They were like, yep, we're here first, guys. Then, you know, Inari showed up. They're like, we've got to go. And that was the end of that. The bluff failed. And yeah, Inari are going to lock down the 4th objective in a row and get a little free jungler on the side, as we do see Ash and Seraphine on there. A little pilgrimage up towards the top lane.
Oh no, please don't do it to the poor Ornn. He's just an Ornn.
He's full HP. He's a big Ornn.
Not for long with the way this is looking.
He's getting chunked down. He's calling for the Ram. It will zone 2. He is limping as the Herald comes in to take him out, but he is picked off beforehand. Seraphine wants to pad the KDA. I respect it. This time, more than happy to share the gold on the side of Inari as we see the split siege.
Oh, but there we go.
Whoa.
We have the proper Bard ult.
A double ult. A double denial there as well. The public execution. A little hasty on the side of Inari there. But Seraphine Encore will tickles in. He will run back. And the superpower that is Ketsuo taking his time in the bot lane.
I mean, but this is exactly what you have to do at this point. Just try to get these objective bounties and get some sort of big lead. Because I do think there is a chance that Ketsuo, if he is able to get strong, might be able to blow up, for example, the Ashe. And Ashe, while she's not the biggest, you know, damage carry of all time, that is still just, oh no, Ketsuo. Oh no, you poor thing. This is looking rough.
Oh. He has flash. Rocket Belt's there. He won't use it. I dare say good death with Baron in a minute. Nothing really up for grabs off the back of that. But again,
yeah,
no one keeps up in CS.
Yeah, I mean, what are you even supposed to do at this point? Because you're in such a bad situation. You need to be overextending, but you don't have any control anywhere on the map. Your jungle does not belong to you anymore. Look at how all of these waves were pushed in. Meanwhile, Ryze doesn't even have a single tower yet. So the entire time the waves are going to be pushing towards the base of Ryze, and with that comes the entire vision controls, comes the ability to move quicker and collapse.
Yeah, and it's getting increasingly hard for Q, who's a homeless jungler. Nat has moved in. And as we can see live, there's not an awful lot of gold to be taken. Aggression from Jams, who does flash, and the Cosmic Binding will miss, but Sakura will catch one, but it's too little too late as Nat. But we're seeing the Ketsu engage. This could be it. Shutdown goes over, but he's limping. Will he be killed? He gets 2! Hey, if there's a believer in the chat, you must be believing a bit more now.
I mean, it is 2 kills. It is a 2 for 2. I think Ryze is incredibly happy with that. They also blew the flashes, which are going to be down. That is 4 flashes blown on the side of Inari. This could have been so much worse. I think Ryze can be very, very happy with how that went.
Ignore everyone that died on Ryze. Vlad got 2 kills. This is what they wanted, okay? They needed this. He's been sitting alone for 20 minutes and 20 seconds for this moment. Double kill, double shutdown. They've got to feel a bit of a fire somewhere. I know, obviously, Xin is miserably behind now. He's been 6 camped, pretty much. And Vi still has full jungle. And there are various gold swings across the map. 80 carries, obviously 7 more KP. Support's massively ahead. They're hemorrhaging a lot. There's a lot of leaks in the boat, but the Vlad double kill, that'll put a little bit of flex seal on the leak for now.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, you have to look at it in a positive way from the side of Ryze, right? Because these games are indeed still quite important. We've been talking about this on and on, that these games matter. Every point matters here. Oh, almost. No, looking like a flank from. Oh. No, just okay. We missed it. It's okay. But yeah, as we were saying, these games are incredibly important. So at this point, perfect.
Ooh, ultimate will catch 80 carry, but Nico, he's going to get locked up. That's a little bit too deep. Half and half. Q is forced in, but Demo's one shot. The damage is there for Inari. Big damage follow through the Encore one shot in the Bard, and the win con is picked off. That is a clean 4 kills for Inari, and that's the Drake spawning. That's the soul.
And unfortunately, the Vladimir, just the 2 shutdowns goes down, the fight is over. Poor DDD is just trying to get at least a little more gold before he dies here, where he's surely going to fall. Just maybe potentially get it. Nope. Ash says no.
Hey, listen. Legolas says not today. No denial there. Good shot. Nico getting a little bit on the side of this Drake. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that staggered death lead into a Baron play. I think Jamsu is kind of predicting it with that aggressive pathing topside for this early vision. Can Ryze stop it? Is the Baron the 6th man that Ryze need to make things work? Vlad Flash is almost back up, so they do have one last sucker punch to try and pull us back.
Oh my god, but take a look at these gold leads. ADC, 3,500 gold. Mid lane, also coming through. Almost a bit over 2,000 gold coming in. These are just so strong individually at this point. It feels like an exact reversal of the last game we had, where it really felt like Ryze just threw their wallets and threw their team comp at Inari. But now it's Inari saying, nah, we got this. And how is Ryze supposed to play this? Inari has the soul, they have the movement speed, they're posturing around this Baron, and they have the pressure.
Absolutely. We absolutely cannot approach this game from a statistical standpoint. It looks like the time of death for Ryze has been called. This is all on the vibe. Ryze are 1-up. The win Tonketsuo is looking mid. They're cooking up a play. I believe that they've got one thing left. I have to. I want to see what happens. Bard ult's ready. Who are they going for?
Ryze is slightly picked off on the side lane.
2v1 top lane demo is dealt with. The concussive blows from Vi. Oh man, that's a lot of armor.
Yeah, well, never mind. It is not the Ryze being picked up. This is the Ornn. I really thought maybe they can stall it out and look for something, drag them apart. But no, indeed, there's just nothing you can do at this point. They're just going to go for the Baron.
Yeah, first class tickets, courtesy of no one, but Ryze do look like they want this fight. Big engage from no one. Bexer will join him over there. Baron, we want Ryze as they kite out. Big damage from no one. Who's running for his life? DDD's got no support. And the win con is in there somewhere. There it is. The belt use flash into the hero play. But he is pulled already. It's... Ooh, hey, do you know what?
Oh. I respect it. I respect it. I saw the angle there. They were all really low. I fully saw that maybe if there was just a little bit more gold in Vladimir's pockets, that would have been a good play. But unfortunately, it ends up not working out. It was a little bit of a desperate play to try and just get them off that Baron. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
Well, you know, I want to say let Ketsuo cook, but these ingredients are rotten as Ryze plan their last attempt at defense. The volley halving the jungler, that's never a good sign. It's going to be tough. This Baron siege could be the end, but unlimited respect for Ryze. They do look scary, even though they've got a lot of O's on that KDA runner.
That is definitely true. And I mean, we're looking here at never mind, they're fighting.
Ultimate goes wide. I don't think Jamsu's had much luck on the offensive ultimates, and this will be a massacre. No one will survive. No one is taking them all. Quad for the Ryze as he fast tracks the siege straight under tower. Oh, what a fantastic game. An easy quad. It was more of a mercy killing. 24-2, 20k goal difference. What a game from Inari. And Ryze have been silenced by Ryze.
Yeah, that was an absolute explosive game. I mean, really, it felt like Inari, they were angry at how that game went. And they said, no. We remembered now, this is not scrims. This is a stage game after all. And we're the team that shows up. We're going to win this one. And you were right. It was a complete massacre in the end. Rise didn't even get to take down a single tower that game.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of things that went wrong for the side of Rise, and the list goes on, okay? I'm not going to detail those now because we haven't got enough hours left in the day, but there was hope. They had that scrappy all-in comp. I like the Ornn with the Xin, with the Vlad follow-through. There was a spark of faith there, but if Jamsu locks in that bot, he's got to be hitting these ults, man, because that's a really susceptible bot lane. You put that in any solo queue game, or put that in Korea, they love picking off these non-mobile carries. Carry would have had a field day down there. So one to take away for Rise. There could have been a lot more kills in that bot lane, which could have maybe turned this game around.
Yeah, and overall, just looking at it, I think both teams can still be happy. It is a 1-1, which, by the way, means I was correct in my prediction. Just saying.
Okay. I knew it. Hey, 2-0 Rise was a flip. I'm an underdog fan myself. You know what I'm saying? I got to give it to them. But Leo, you were right. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, it's not over. It is not over for either of these teams. Rise still has a chance next week where they have to face Nuclear Vikings, and Inari, they're still gunning for 4th, and they're in a good position to do so.
You know, it's just like, I feel like that first game slipping through the fingers can make somebody a little bit nervous. But like I thought initially, it was more of a comp thing. I don't think Inari got outhandsed, which is always something to take away. And they came back with a lot of bites, and they saw things off. Any closing comments, Leo?
No, that is it for me. I believe that both these teams, they still have good things to show. And I am excited to see where exactly they're going to stand at the end of this season.
Amazing stuff. Hey, and thank you so much for watching, guys. And we'll be handed straight back to the desk. Take it away.
Hi, it's the desk. We're back. Just about. Not the way I saw the series going. 1-1. Trajan, is that your prediction just intact?
Well, my prediction was 2-0 and
Yours
Ari.
was 2-0.
Because I thought it was going to be... I thought it was going to be 2 of those.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 2 of those as well. Oh well.
Yeah. Now, this is kind of what I think should have happened. I think Inari looked a lot more comfortable. I think so somehow they managed to get back to that mental center and just were like, nope, we don't care. Like, they managed to get past 2 bad scrims and 1 bad stage game and put like themselves back on their feet. They did not reach for the weirdness in the draft, which is kind of what I thought they might have to do to try and find that center, but they stuck. They were playing Vi, they were playing Ashe, Seraphine, Ambessa, Rise. These are all top tier meta standard picks, so they didn't have to get crazy to get good. And I think that is a very good thing for Inari to show us as we are approaching tougher matches, potentially playoff series. Like, the fact that we can just slam a Rise and do that, I think that's great. That's
So
good for them.
Inari, stayed in the sane realm. Rise Gaming, congratulations on tying up Verdant Academy at 4 and 8. Gizmo, did the Vladimir get cooked in draft? Is that the reaching too far? We're not going to see him again?
Put him back in the box, man.
Oh.
It's a Get Soil classic for some reason. I don't know.
I'm muted. That happens. I think typical. Yeah, I think that the Vlad, real big issue. Rise able to snowball early, push into the side lanes, affect jungle matchup, then go top as well. A lot of pressure on the top side worked out really well for them. I think that was the big part of what snowballed the game. Obviously, the Vlad pick enabled that. Ketsuogo in the area as well, expecting to be trading. Never really saw them trade because no one just went, I'm just going to leave and just go affect the rest of the map. You enjoy this lane, buddy. So I think it was an idealistic pick, right? Trying to play for a single lane, but when you're playing a team-based game, they're just going to look around and go elsewhere, and really worked well on the Rise.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any replays, but a very one-sided win for Inari in the second set as they regain former sanity. I think it's pretty fair to say. Looking ahead to the next game day, next Monday, we do have words: Absolved Rod and Friends, Rise versus the Nuclear Vikings, and Inari versus Verdant. So, maybe Inari can help keep Rise's closest rivals down, and a big battle at the top, Trajan.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the Absolved and X matches get less interesting the more they keep winning, because now it's like they just 2-0'd Gucci, which is pretty massive for them. Broad and Friends did manage to put up again another
1-on-1,
right?
They managed,
and like, I just don't see them really contesting Absolved unless they, between now and then, manage to solve some major problems with the run that Absolved are on. The Inari Verdant one, now that Inari have shown that they can get toppled by a 3-7 team in Rise, who are now a 4-8 team, Verdant Academy have the equal record with Rise, and they have the head-to-head. They just need to steal another win.
Just
they need
one.
to steal one from Inari. They need to rob anybody, right? And Rise, despite the first game they put up against Inari, which was so good, it was, man, Rise has finally got it together. They might still get beamed into 9th. Like, after all that, it's, the pressure is still onto them, and it feels like it's being, Inari has the power to ruin their day still, for a second time in 2 games.
Just in case they feel like dropping game one for a bit of fun. Gizmo, closing thoughts. What's on your mind looking ahead?
Well, I think obviously I think the Verdant Inari game is going to be interesting. I think I'll be honest. I think Inari wiping draft. I think Verdant have looked quite weak in draft, and I think it shows in this game that they're able to come back, reassess draft into Rise, and it worked really well in their favor. I think Rise vs Nuclear Vikings is probably going to be the most important match for Rise's sake. Nuclear Vikings have looked sort of like a bit of a come up. Josh Kang, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What needs to be said.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a tough road for Rise, but if they can get one and Inari sweep Verdant, I think they're quite happy.
Trajan, anything else before we call it good night for everyone at home?
I think that this UKL split has felt like there is more power and value at the bottom of the table than almost any other UKL split I've ever seen. And we still have, like, it's the top side and the bot side feel quite distinct, but it doesn't feel like the bot side is like completely hopeless across the board, where, you know, Absolved, yes, they're probably still the people to beat and they're kind of clapping everybody, but Broad's 1-on-1ing, Inari's 1-on-1ing, Bandits are 1-on-1ing. Like, there's a lot of the top teams that have shown us a lot more, but the bottom teams like Nuke, like Rise, they feel like they really have a lot to offer. So this feels like quite a lot of depth in the UKL, maybe even the deepest, like, spread of talent that I've seen in a long time, if ever, in the UKL, honestly.
I can't think of a split in which we've had like teams that when they get it together it looks real good, and it is also like convincing they'll do it again. It's not just like a crazy draft or a crazy incident.
But there's also been a lot of movement, right, in the teams as well. Like, we've had a lot of players coming in, and I think that's going to shake things up, especially when we get to playoffs. I think it makes it more interesting, but like also you now can't take their standings for granted, right? You know, you could have got an even better player. I mean, you've got like Maddock coming in for Bulldogs. That could really upset things in the mid side, which was
they're already 8-something for some reason still. Crazy. Like, you know, it's
and the amount of junglers we've
so
had
many threats
come in as well, and like junglers have been the ones running the league, and they were already strong, and they brought in these new junglers. If they stay on the same track as the other ones, I mean, these teams, like, the ceiling could be even higher, and it's really good to see.
Jungle Kingdom in the UK.
So, we leave you tonight with news that we still have an 8-teams playoff, and we don't surprise any of our qualified teams by ripping their qualifications away. Congratulations, Verdant, on making it to EMEA Masters. We expect another great show after tonight's NLC games. And Arctic Pandas, you're in the finals, not that anyone would know. Good night.